At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
Gold Star Stadium today, host to one of the biggest games in the Catholic League. The champs are here, and Cardinal Hayes looking to bounce back from a tough loss to Iona, and Chaminade looking to prove, hey, we are elite in the Catholic High School Football League. It's Cardinal Hayes, it's Chaminade. Let's get it on. Today's Catholic High School Football League broadcast brought to you by the fine folks at Catholic Health. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Dylan Butler alongside Pat Godfrey. You know it's a big game because we got the shades on.
Oh, yeah,
here.
A lot of star power. It's real bright here at Gold Star Stadium, so we're going to need them all day as Chaminade, the number one team in this AAA division this year, faces the reigning state champs, the Cardinal Hayes Cardinals.
Yeah, it should be an incredible matchup of two teams that certainly have championship aspirations. When we talk Cardinal Hayes, though, that's a team that, hey, they are the reigning champs. You know, they are the defending state champions for the first time ever. But in our conversation with CJ O'Neill, he says nobody cares. And if they do care, it's because they want to beat the champs. They have them circled on their schedule. So it's being the champion and being that top dog that has been a little bit of a struggle for these Hayesmen this year.
Absolutely. It's typically easier to be hunting than being hunted, and Hayes has been dealing with some ups and downs throughout the course of this season. The good news for CJ O'Neill's squad is a hallmark of his program is coming on strong towards the end of the regular season and into the playoffs. They're going to look to start that drive for a second straight state title here today at Gold Star Stadium against a Chaminade team that has outperformed expectations.
Yeah, Cardinal Hayes, you are right. They traditionally start slow and they finish really, really strong. And of course, last year, what an ending they had in this league season beating Iona Prep. But Iona Prep, CJ O'Neill said, listen, last week they were the hungrier team. So how do you bounce back from that? How do you deal with the adversity that they're going to deal with? They do have some really good players to lead them there. What a group of seniors they have here at Cardinal Hayes. And among those guys, we'll show them to you now, a couple of next-level players. We'll show the next-level graphic of current Hayes guys on the next level, but there's a lot of them on this team, including Reed Jones, bound for Yale, and Kamari Valentine. He is still on the recruiting trail.
Yeah, Reed Jones, absolute stud. He might remind you of a guy who just left Hayes last year, Cleveland Charlton, who had a huge touchdown catch in the end of the fourth quarter of the AAA final. He uses all 6'3" of that frame to make some big plays on the way to 6 touchdowns so far this year. On the flip side of the ball, Kamari Valentine, a hair under 6 foot tall, about 320 pounds, one of the most powerful physical guys in all the Catholic League this year. Look for him to cause chaos on the inside against Tom Claro's offensive line.
CJ O'Neill says, I've not had a guy who ever hunts the football like Kamari Valentine does. Part of a returning front three, which we'll detail as this game goes along. But nice to have all three bigs back on the defensive line. That's exactly the case for Cardinal Hayes.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going up against probably the best offensive line that they've seen all year long. And if they want to be successful today, they need to prevent Tim Murphy from getting comfortable. Look for those big three up front for Hayes to get it done out here today.
And for Chaminade, hey, listen, they come into this game 6-1, 4-0 on the year. And they're a team right away, right? Opened eyes. Sent shockwaves, if you will, through the Catholic Football League with that non-league win at St. Anthony's, right? Back on August 31st, week 0. So now we're like, that's a legit win, and they have followed it up to this point, right? They beat everybody that's been on their schedule with the exception of Seton Hall Prep out of New Jersey. That includes a 30-22 win that we had here on the Varsity Media Sports Network over Stepanak, and then the win last week against their rivals Kellenberg. We're going to know a lot more about the Chaminade team over the course of these next couple of hours and also over the course of these next 2 weeks. You have Hayes and Iona back-to-back. Listen, Chaminade, there's a big buzz, right? There's a lot of excitement here on Mineola on Jericho Turnpike. And now it's the time to prove it in these next 2 weeks.
No doubt. Tom Clower, in just his first year here in Mineola, has his Flyers believing that they can actually make a championship run this year. But in order to get that done, you got to match up well against the heavyweights in this AAA division. We saw them take care of business against St. Anthony's in week 1, and here they are with probably the biggest test all year so far against Richie Beelan and the reigning state champs.
And you know, a lot of those guys probably love what they see as well from this current crop of Flyers here in Chaminade. And as we look at the players to watch for Chaminade, some terrific athletes, right? A very good receiving core for Tim Murphy. Today we'll highlight Brendan Park. Maybe we'll get some more looks here this afternoon. And Lou D'Agostino, listen, Louis Dags, 13 sacks on the year. They hope he will be in Richie Beelan's kitchen here this afternoon.
Yeah, Brendan Park, one of a bevy of receivers for Tim Murphy on this offense. Look for him to get involved early and often. He's really stepped up and made some plays when his number's called alongside the likes of Michael Dietrich on that offense. Then on the flip side of the ball, can't overstate how well Lou D'Agostino has been playing. 13 sacks in this very short season thus far. Really incredible the way that he disrupts things. And look for him to get going against Richie Beelan, prevent him from getting comfortable and cause chaos in the backfield all day long.
Hey, they're on opposite sides today. They'll be at Syracuse together. Beelan as a QB, D'Agostino as a high-level lacrosse player. So they'll eventually be friends. Not today.
And I think Fran Brown might be taking some notes as this game goes along, trying to see if he can bring D'Agostino over to the football team as well.
So, Pat, as we get ready for both teams to line up and the anthems, let's take a look at some of our keys for this game here today.
Yeah, for Cardinal Hayes, it's all about playing smart, fast football. They've got explosive athletes all around this team, so they're going to want to have some explosive plays early and often. They also got to play a complete football game, something they've been yet to do when we were talking to C.J. O'Neill earlier this week. So put it all together for 4 quarters, and then they got to win the big plays, as I said. On the flip side, for Chaminade, really important for them to contain Richie Beelan. He can cause chaos when he gets going with his arm and with his legs, so look for those talented pass rushers such as Lucas Smith and Lou D'Agostino to try to contain Rich Beelan. They got to protect the quarterback and protect the football and win the turnover battle. Be the smarter team out here, and they'll emerge victorious at Gold Star Stadium.
Those first 2 keys for Cardinal Hayes, C.J. O'Neill, their head coach, said, we've not done that this year to this point. What an opportunity maybe to do that, play those four quarters of football today. And, yeah, it's an interesting one, right, where Chaminade, probably a similar perspective as they had against St. Anthony's, right? Let's keep their dynamic playmakers off the field by moving the football, by moving the chains, by taking time off the clock on offense.
It's something they've done so well all year long. Peter Gerbasi, their running back, when he gets going on the ground, can really eat up chunks of yardage at a time and sustain 10, 11, 12 play drives. It can just be a backbreaker for an opposing defense. So they're going to really look to get that going. Whereas on the flip side of the ball, Cardinal Hayes, kind of the opposite. They're a team that likes to get the ball and move it downfield in big chunks, quick hitters, and try and blow things up on the deep end of this Chaminade Flyers defense.
And one thing is certain over these next 2 weeks, with this matchup, with Chaminade, Iona next week, with St. Anthony's, Cardinal Hayes next week, we will learn a lot about the pecking order in the postseason in the AAA over these next 2 weeks. And obviously Chaminade, you know, their head coach Tom Clower said, if we do what we hope we can do and what we expect to do, maybe there's some home games, some home playoff games here at Gold Star Stadium.
No doubt. A lot of fun. The fact that we got a semi-round robin over the next couple weeks of these top 4 teams being St. Anthony's, Chaminade, Hayes, and Iona Prep. And it's really anybody's year this year, wide open, and Hayes looking to kind of reassert some dominance, let everybody know that they're not going away easily.
And there's a look at the standings. To note, this is before the PowerPoints. The league puts out the PowerPoints before the final week of the regular season, so that's when we'll know kind of the pecking order there. But just in terms of wins and losses, yeah, there you see it. It's a pretty much like a three-way tie there atop the AAA, and St. Anthony's just behind that top three.
Yeah, Chaminade, I mean, they've got a ton of confidence, haven't beaten a few good teams early, but you don't really know who you are until you match up against the likes of a Cardinal Hayes with the Division I talent that they've got all around the field. So going to be a real gut check for Tom Claro's team to see how they can compose themselves here in Mineola. And
also it'll be an interesting one for the DC, right? Tom Elder, who was lauded by C.J. O'Neal for re-energizing this Chaminade defense. What an ultimate test this is today with so many next-level athletes for Cardinal Hayes.
Yeah, nothing's going to be easy. So many explosive players around the perimeter, so they're going to have to play smart, disciplined defense, make sure that everybody's managing their responsibilities exactly where they need to be when they need to be there. So huge test and probably the toughest game so far for these Chaminade Flyers.
Yeah, but if there's anything that we know about these Flyers, as we've seen through the course of this season, with their coaching staff, we know those guys already. Look at some of the faces as they get ready to emerge from the tunnel by their locker room. These guys are dialed in.
No doubt. This is a team that only won one game last season and kind of went into this year feeling that they had something to prove. It's a first-year coach who's done a lot of winning with other programs in the AAA division, and all of a sudden they're starting to believe that they really do belong. But hey, like I said, you never know until you get out there against the true class of the division, being Cardinal Hayes, and Cardinal Hayes is not going to make it easy for him here today.
Yeah, please move out of the way for Lucas Cottagio and Dean Schmidt as they lead their boys onto the field of battle. It's Cardinal Hayes. It is Chaminade. It's the Catholic High School Football League AAA. Opening kickoff when we return right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
Back here at Gold Star Stadium, you see the ceremonial coin toss. Looks like Cardinal Hayes got their first win of the day. They will be on offense to start this one. Actually, they'll be on defense to start it. Chaminade will receive the opening kick.
Former Chaminade players, presumably, join them out there for the first coin toss.
So before the start of this one, Pat will send it to the PA announcer for our pregame festivities.
View of the action for all. Do not stand at or lean on the railings at the front of the stands. Please respect our referees, coaches, staff, and one another, and please enjoy the game. Smoking is not permitted on school grounds. Out of respect for our neighbors, please refrain from the use of air horns and similar noisemakers during today's game. Restrooms and concession stands are located at the base of the bleachers on the side opposite the field, facing Jericho Turnpike. At this time, please rise and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem, as performed by the Chaminade G Club.
He said back and forth. That's what I meant.
A little warm here in Mineola, but it should be a terrific football game between two of the powerhouses this year in the Catholic High School Football League.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful day. Couldn't ask for anything better, and just can't wait to get this one kicked off. Lot of star power out here on the field today, and been kind of waiting anxiously for a few weeks here to kind of see what Chaminade's really made of against the class of this AAA division.
Yeah, the Flyers entered this game 6-1 overall, undefeated in league play at 4-0. Cardinal Hayes 3-1 in the league, 4-2 overall. Cardinal Hayes coached by C.J. O'Neill. His 22nd season there is C.J. Mount St. Michael 1989 graduate. He's got a young daughter, Charlotte Ann. She's 2. A second one on the way for C.J. O'Neill. So congratulations to C.J. and his wife, joining their 23-year-old son as well. The guy just moved to Lido Beach. Sent me a picture yesterday of him on the walking the beach along the sands.
Who's got it better than Coach O'Neill nowadays? You know, some beachfront property, a title contender in the AAA division, and a growing family. That's pretty good.
I said to him, what school district is that? He goes, it's Long Beach, but the girls are going to Kellenberg. I said, did you already have this locked in already? As the opening kickoff will bounce into the end zone. So Chaminade will start from their own 20, but hold the phone. There's a flag here. So we will see. I think this is a personal foul. Our white hat today, Ken Breitenstein. We've got Paul Rupp as the umpire. The field judge is Joe Gilkin. Tommy Smith, Jimmy Graham also on the staff today, veteran officiating crew. And there you see Tim Murphy. Look, economical numbers, right? For Murph, has done it both with his arm and his legs. 12 total touchdowns, just over 900 total yards.
Yeah, Tim Murphy's been so composed leading this offense all year long. A guy who's got a solid arm and can also lower his shoulder behind that 215-pound frame and get a couple tough yards when needed.
So off that penalty, Chaminade starts from their own 10-yard line. Handoff on first down not much doing there for the Flyers and Peter Gerbasi. Let's meet the starters offensively for Chaminade. Murphy, Gerbasi. Then you got Dietrich, Braz, Park, and Timmy Battaglia at your tight end. What a great offensive line you've got as well. Contagio, Katrakazis, Knox, Miller, and Pawlowski. And we'll also see a lot of Jack Durnan as well at left guard.
Not a great play on that opening snap, but his offensive line been so consistent all year long, creating holes for Gerbasi and company.
And another flag. That was a loss of 2 for Gerbasi. And you could see the Hayes guys clapping it up. And this is against Chaminade.
They're putting themselves in a real tough situation on this opening drive, especially against such a talented defensive line. Last thing you'd ever want to do is risk a safety right here. So would expect some conservative play calling from Chaminade, trying to get out of their own end zone.
So it's now 2nd and 17. And Murphy's got to get the ball from the front of his own end zone. There's a handoff. Gerbasi got by the first, but not the second. This is a stout Cardinal Hayes defense. Let's meet our starters now. All 3 guys up front return from last year. Blake Beelan, Derek Lopez, and Kamari Valentine. Aiden Smart is the leader of the pack defensively. You got Lossman, Garcia, Thomas, your secondary, Rogers, and Simmons at your corners, Biggio and Sabanji at the safeties.
He was our player to watch earlier today, but Kamari Valentine already in these opening 2 snaps causing chaos. He was a broken tackle away from a safety right there on 2nd down. Let's see what he can get going up the middle on 3rd.
Chaminade, their opening drive, going backwards here. They've got to get out to the 20-yard line to move the chains. Murphy, incomplete in a situation you never want to face. Not only do you go 4 and out, but now you've got to punt from basically the back of your own end zone.
Yeah, a lot of pressure for Battaglia, their excellent long snapper right here. Sending it back to Jones, who's done a really good job punting all season long for Chaminade, but obviously a difficult situation here for any punter with your heels up against the end line.
So deep, Antoine Harvey, and he's at about the 50-yard line. Expect him to attack this football. An important punt here for a guy who's been excellent all year, both kicking and punting, Justin Jones. Timmy Battaglia is your long snapper, the hold. And this one is taking a Cardinal Hayes bounce, fielded at about the 32-yard line. So short field position for the reigning Gatorade Player of the Year in New York State, Rich Beelan. We have seen his maturation. He was a freshman receiver. When these 2 teams met 4 years ago on the rooftop across the street from Yankee Stadium, it was Richie Beelan as a receiver catching Henry Beelan's hook and ladder for the winning touchdown, and Beelan has become his brother's keeper, and what a terrific quarterback the Syracuse-bound Beelan has been.
Such a dynamic player. The Beelans are the little ACC family dynasty. Rich off to Syracuse, Henry at Duke, and Blake down at Georgia Tech, forgive me.
So Beelan finds a hole up the middle, pushes forward, and he will move the chains. So a 1st down run for Rich Beelan. Let's meet the rest of the starters offense. Well, hang on. We're moving fast for Cardinal Hayes. We'll get them after the next play. This time Beelan airs it out, looking to try to find Harvey out of the backfield. That's incomplete. Now we can meet their starters offensively for Cardinal Hayes. Beelan, Torrey, Jones, Sabanji, Harvey, and Cotez, your receivers. A really stout offensive line as well. Mann, Ramdas, Frazier, Mann, as well as Blake Beelan. You got the 2 Mann brothers, Jaden going to Syracuse as well. Blake Beelan, as you mentioned, going to Georgia Tech. Fake handoff, throw over the middle. And a good job tackling there by this Chaminade defense. And they have been terrific this season up front. Smith, Viscardi, Jemison, your linebackers, Hanley, Schmidt, Trapani, D'Agostino, corners, Landrum and Bakirs, and Lombardo and Cuomo as well. Expect to see a lot of Peter Braz as well in the defensive backfield.
That secondary for Chaminade going to have their hands full all afternoon against this aerial attack for Cardinal Hayes.
Torrey up the middle. Good carry for Ahmad Torrey. And he will move the chains as well. The junior from Harlem, a ton of upside for him. 26 carries, 116 yards. First and goal now. Torrey again. And this time wrapped up. How about Lucas Smith?
Yeah, Lucas Smith is a guy who can be really dangerous once he gets it going on the edge for Chaminade. Right there, able to make a nice stop. But thus far, aside from that last play, things really going as well as C.J. O'Neal could have possibly hoped making the trip down from the Bronx.
Second and goal from the 5. Pistol formation for the Cardinals. Beelan goes for it himself, goes towards the end zone. He pushed forward, and he'll get the score. Rich Beelan, with his legs, has given Cardinal Hayes the early lead.
What really impressed me right here from Rich Beelan is he's a guy who's not necessarily known for his power when he's running the ball, but right at the goal line, he's able to lower his shoulder, go through a backer from Chaminade, and fight that last difficult yard to punch it in for Hayes on this opening drive.
So Rich Beelan did it with his legs. He'll try to make the extra point with his leg as well. He is the kicker. Bodhi Sabanji is your long snapper, and Kenji Burnham is the holder. The kick is up, and it is good. An ideal start on an ideal Sunday afternoon here in Mineola for Cardinal Hayes. Rich Beelan has given the visitors a 7-0 lead. You're watching it all right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
There's a good look at Tom Claro. First year as the head coach, a 1992 graduate of Chaminade, former Stepanek O-line coach, a guy who's coached all around, but his heart is here at Chaminade.
Yeah, no question, Coach Claro's commitment to these Chaminade Flyers. He drives down every day from Rockland County to coach these boys, but it meant that much for him to return to his alma mater, try and return to their winning ways.
Beelan will put this one into the end zone. And do we not speak about that enough? His incredible athleticism for touchbacks and to give his defense the optimum amount of yards there to deal with.
Yeah, I'm going to try to avoid sounding like Chris Collins. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes, but pretty much everything Rich Beelan does out here is pretty impressive.
And nice to be the Beelan parents, right? As you mentioned, coming in, you want to be Henry and Rita, having all your boys go on and play college football, not having to pay a dime for college. Well done by the Beelan family.
Elite academics at all schools as well, between Duke, Georgia Tech, and Syracuse. So well done on and off the field by the Beelans.
Now all they got to worry about is where they go on a Saturday afternoon after this year.
Tough decisions.
Twin receivers at the bottom of your screen. Handoff, Gerbasi. And now you get that rugby scrum of a push. He'll get out to about the 24-yard line.
Dylan, I think it's really important for Chaminade to get a little bit of momentum going on the ground here on this drive. Obviously, they were moving in the wrong direction the first time they got the ball this game, and Rich Beelan made them pay for it with a quick touchdown. So look for them to kind of establish their pace, start playing a little bit more of their style of football.
2nd and 7 for the Flyers. They went 3 and out, and they gave Cardinal Hayes short field position on their first drive of the game. That pass is complete, but not much doing there.
Incredible job by Aiden Smart right there, quickly shedding a block from a Chaminade Flyer and flying up the field.
I believe that was Gerbasi with the reception. But now you put yourself in those 3rd and long situations. You know what you're noticing here today? I don't know if you've noticed it yet, but I'm just kind of scanning the crowd here, and it's not just Chaminade and Hayes fans. It's other league coaches. Like, there's a lot of people here from across the league knowing this is the game to watch on a Sunday afternoon.
Sorry to any Giants fans out there, but you're better off tuning into the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Big 3rd down here for Chaminade. And this is an incompleted pass. It was Dietrich, the intended target.
It's got to be a frustrating start for any Chaminade Flyers fans. You know, they're a team that really prides itself on staying on schedule, 3 yards in a cloud of dust type deal, but unable to find their rhythm thus far in this first quarter.
So again, you've got Jones punting from deep, and an opportunity for Cardinal Hayes again to have short field. Right field position is so important in this sport, and right now it's all been slanted to the guys from the Grand Concourse. That's Antoine Harvey. Deep. Jones, a little bit too deliberate. Sabanji blocks it out of the back of the end zone.
Wow. Dylan, we say it all the time. Special teams 1/3 of the game, and Cardinal Hayes dominant thus far in that third. Huge play. This block right here looks like it's going to be number 9 right there.
Yeah,
Sabanji with the block. And wow, you want to talk about a great start for Cardinal Hayes. You couldn't ask for anything better than a quick touchdown, a safety, and now probably some more good field position for Rich Beelan and company to try and march it down once more.
How about Bodie Sabanji, right? The senior from Brooklyn, number 9. By the way, he just transferred in. He is an actor in the movie Black Adam. Did you see Black Adam?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was playing a starring role in that, along with The Rock and Pierce Brosnan.
I mean, a true Renaissance man right there.
But Sabanji always wanted to play football and sought out one of the best programs in the state at Cardinal Hayes.
Yeah, he's a guy who doesn't have a ton of experience, but as you can see right there, a lot of raw talent. It's a great play, and you know, if his career on the silver screen doesn't work out, he might have a career on Sundays. Who knows?
So 9-0 the lead for Cardinal Hayes. And a chance for the Cardinals to tack some more on.
Do want to call out is after a safety, they're kicking off from the 20-yard line versus the traditional 35.
And this one will go out of bounds. So everything going wrong right now for Chaminade as Sincere Durrell watches that one go out of bounds.
Yeah, real opportunity here for this Hayes offense to get aggressive. Got a chance to make this already a 2-score game.
Let me ask you here, Pat. Sorry, Pat. Let me ask you this, right? So you just got the safety. You have momentum. Do you go right away? First play, let's make the big shot.
I think first play, you see if Rich Beelan wants to air it out 50-plus yards. Try and find a guy like Reed Jones, see if he wants to use all 6'3" of that frame to break this game wide open. You got Chaminade in a vulnerable position. Now's time to see if you can break their will here early in Mineola.
And you want a big game guy, he's at the bottom of your screen, Kenji Burnham. He's made a lot of big plays for Cardinal Hayes. 1st and 10 from the 45. Beelan does look long, fires it over the middle. It's tipped and intercepted.
Tristan Lombardo right there, the senior free safety, steps up and makes a huge play right on schedule for Chaminade when they really needed a boost of life here, Dylan.
A massive play by Lombardo. There is a flag. It will be against Hayes, but that'll be declined.
You see right here, Rich Beelan staring down his receiver, uncharacteristic of him. Really nice play by Dean Schmidt, getting his hands up into the lane, batting that one, and off the tip drill, Lombardo comes out on top. Just what the doctor ordered if you're a Chaminade Flyers fan out here.
So big play for Chaminade at the exact time that you need it. So they'll start out on their own 21-yard line.
Chaminade so far having a really tough time running to the heart of this defense, and understandable with the kind of defensive line that Cardinal Hayes is bringing to the table, but maybe you throw in a trick play here on this drive, a little something just to get your offense going, give them some confidence.
Murphy looks downfield, goes to his right. That is out of bounds, though, as Peter Braz was the intended target, made the catch, but was out of bounds. I think if at the minimum, Pat, you need to at least for the first time move the chains.
Exactly. You know, just something to get them feeling like they're moving the ball in the right direction, like they can run against this impenetrable wall that sometimes is the Cardinal Hayes defense. And, you know, once you start stringing together a couple of first downs, that's really when Tim Murphy and this offense are most comfortable. Long, sustained, continued moving the right direction type drives.
2nd and 10. Murphy, the quick out, and that's incomplete. Battaglia was the intended target. And this is what Chaminade's had to deal with, these 3rd and long situations. Now they're at a 3rd and 10.
Yeah, that's another play right there by Kamari Valentine, defensive end, able to get into the throwing lane of Tim Murphy and just make life really difficult on what should be a routine pass to Timmy Battaglia. So once again, 3rd and long, not where this Chaminade team is most comfortable, and we'll see if they can pull something right here.
You mentioned those front three, right? You got Derek Lopez, 91, Kamari Valentine, 99, Blake Beelan, you see him right there, 70. These are all returning starters, right, for a couple of years. Tom Claro knew him well. He's like, I had to deal with these guys as an offensive line coach for Stepanek. I know how tough they are. 3rd and 10 for Chaminade. It's a handoff for Jabasi. Tries to cut it inside, not eluding the tackle, though, of Blake Beelan. He's pulled down at the 25-yard line.
This play right here shows you why Georgia Tech is so excited to get Blake Beelan down to Atlanta next year. He's going to use his hands, throw that tackle right off of him, and make a great play to force Chaminade off the field, punting for the 3rd time in this still young first quarter.
Yeah, Justin Jones will have to hurry things up now that he knows that Sabanji and the boys are coming. Harvey is deep for Cardinal Hayes. This punt is up and good. Good hang time as well. Fair catch called by Harvey, who's got to backtrack to make that catch. So this is technically the worst field position that Hayes has had yet, which speaks a lot about the way that things have gone for the Hayesmen in this first quarter.
Yeah, it's been pretty smooth sailing outside of that interception from Rich Beelan. So look for them to just get back on track right out here. Not a lot of pressure on you, up by 2 scores already in this game. And maybe run behind that talented offensive line. Guys of the likes of Mann, Ramdas, Frazier. Really get some movement up front.
Yeah, left tackle is Jaden Mann, Syracuse commit. How about 6'5", 305 out of Brooklyn?
Couldn't draw him up any better in a lab, right?
Beelan follows Torrey, bounces out to the outside, and scampers out of bounds.
Nice job by Anthony Trapani, the undersized linebacker, forcing Beelan out of bounds. But the thing is right now, Cardinal Hayes, when they have an underwhelming play, it's 4 yards in the right direction, and that's not where you want to be if you're on the Chaminade defense.
Beelan just 250 yards on the ground this year. Such an incredible dual threat talent, but he's not really used those legs, but kind of like tread on a tire, right? You don't want to wear that out early in the season. The biggest games are ahead of him.
Got it if you need it, but especially up 2 scores early, you don't want to rely too much on it. As there's a big fumble.
Let's see as the pile gets pulled apart. Is this another big defensive play? I think they're keeping it here. We'll take another look. Torrey fumbled it, and you see the ball go forward. Hayes was able to come away with it.
Very fortunate to retain possession here and actually gets a few extra yards, make it a little bit more of a third and manageable for this Hayes offense.
And not exactly the way it was drawn up, but they'll take it regardless. Beelan dives forward. He knows exactly where he needs to go. So he was wrapped up behind, right, for a loss, but stretches out all of his 6-foot frame to move the chains.
Well, that's just a classic case of, hey, I'm going to run my best player behind my second best player. So right behind right tackle Blake Beelan out there. Rich knows exactly where to go behind his brother and slides forward. Great field awareness to move the chains.
Or did he? I think we're going to have a measurement here.
To my eye, this was a new set of downs.
I thought so too. I'm glad that we're in agreement. But it's not our decision. Yeah.
Dylan, I've always known you were smart.
So Beelan will move the chains. It's been a little bit banged up the start of the year as well. So the combination of really not wanting to run a mobile quarterback too much early and also the injuries, that's made him more of a pocket passer. But yeah, he's pretty good at that too.
Yeah.
A couple 50-yard gains last week to Antoine Harvey in that loss to Iona. Now Beelan follows Sincere Darrell, his blocker, pushes forward to about the 46-yard line of Chaminade.
Yeah, Kenji Burnham doing a really good job out there on the edge blocking for Hayes as well. You know, all the receivers at home, we know that you like to play highlights of the big catches, but sometimes those plays blocking out on the edge, it can really be the difference maker between a mediocre offense and a great one.
You almost wish that was a stat that you can have, right, in your broadcast. Like you get receptions, yards, right, yards after catch. How about successful blocks?
You're speaking my language. We're all linemen.
Second and 4 for the Cardinals. Beelan surveys the situation, flushed out. What a pass, but it goes in and out of the hands of Adonis Cortez.
And that player is one of the first time we saw a matchup of heavyweights that will be a fun one to watch all day. Lou DiAgostino going up against one-on-one Blake Beelan on the edge. This time around, Beelan does a pretty good job of running him past his older brother, or actually it's Lucas Smith right there. But you want to talk about a great offensive lineman versus some really talented pass rushers. It'll be a fun storyline to watch all day.
And one of many, right? 3rd and 4 for Hayes. Twin receivers at the top of your screen. Here comes Darrell. Sincere out to the 40 to move the chains.
He's sincerely playing his heart out right now. What a great run to move the chains.
Yeah, part of a bit of a three-headed monster at running back right now with Torrey, John Weaver, and Sincere Darrell, senior from the Bronx, a spark plug for these Cardinals. Here's Beelan. Flag on the play, cuts it back inside. He's gang tackled, but gets the push forward. But you expect this to be coming back. Our referee, Ken Breitenstein, part of that crew that we had on Friday night out at St. Anthony's, where the Friars beat St. John the Baptist. And that crew, Chris Atchison, was our referee for that game. And there you see the call hold on the offense. They had a lot of work to do, Pat, on Friday night. Chris Atchison, I don't know if you saw it yet, but somewhere around the third quarter, you know, we got him tight with our terrific cameras on a call. He was just agitated.
Yeah, you always hope to see some clean football out here, but every once in a while, emotions kind of run amok, and you can start seeing a lot more yellow out on the field.
Beelan, 1st and 20. And he'll go still alive. What a play. Now, will they say,
effort.
And I think they will say, right, that there was the receiver, Kenji Burnham, was in the area code, if you will.
Yeah, there's a pretty heroic effort right here by Rich Beelan to not get sacked. A whole host of defenders. Look like Lou D'Agostino might have been the first one in there off the edge to try and wrap up Beelan, but at just 190 pounds, still a lot of power within that frame. Not an easy guy to bring down.
So 2nd and 20 for Hayes. Empty backfield now for Beelan. Trips left. Beelan runs. Smith chases, spins away, still spinning like a top. And looks like he'll finally go down inside the 35-yard line.
And Dylan, by my count, that's the third time on this set of downs alone that Richie Beelan has been heroic running the football. You'll see right here, you want to just think about yards after contact, following his blockers, does a great job, broken tackle, hand in the dirt. And who wants it more right now? I got news for you. It's number 3.
And he saw his brother with a big push there as well, Blake Beelan. And this is another penalty, though, against Cardinal Hayes. And that's been part of the early season story as well, right, for the Cardinals, where they've not played the cleanest football. That's part of what C.J. O'Neill says when he says we haven't played 4 complete quarters of football yet.
It's got to be so frustrating if you're on the sideline for Cardinal Hayes right now, just seeing how your team is performing so well, some heroics from your senior quarterback, yet at the same time continually shooting yourself in the foot to put yourself in a 2nd and 30 situation.
Yeah, at this point, they almost need to cross Jericho Turnpike to get the first down. Beelan airs it out, looking for Harvey, and he had him, and Harvey had a step on his defender, Danny Landrum, but that was incomplete.
Yeah, Harvey's a guy who's just an absolute burner out there. The senior from the Bronx almost had it, just a step behind, but look for him to get going, as he did last week with a couple huge catches against Iona Prep. And that's one of the advantages for Cardinal Hayes, forgive me. If they want to get the ball out into space, they feel good about a lot of these one-on-one matchups and about Richie Beelan's ability to deliver it out on the edge.
Pretty big play here defensively, right, for Chaminade. If you can get a stop here, especially having Beelan then punt from his own 40, or from his own 30 probably, then maybe you get some good field position for the first time. Beelan over the middle. Ken G. Burnham pull down at the 49-yard line. Looks like that was Schmidt in on the tackle. Senior from Belmore, 66 tackles on the year coming in.
Yeah, it's a really good job by the Chaminade defense of just staying responsible, understanding the situation that, hey, 3rd and 30 is not an easy situation to do a 3-step drop and try and drive the ball downfield. So instead, Hayes elects for the screen and Chaminade all over it.
Michael Genovese deep for Chaminade. And by the way, yeah, it's Beelan over his head. Beelan, a fortunate bounce. Finally pulled down. So big play for the Flyers. They'll get the ball inside of the Cardinal Hayes 25-yard line.
Yeah, Chaminade maybe evening the ledger up a little bit on the special team side of the ball. Miscue from Cardinal Hayes with the poor snap. Richie Beelan tries his best to wriggle away and still get this punt off, but just not tenable with a whole host of flyers right up there in his face. Looked like Dean Schmidt was the one who ultimately was able to clean that up. And great job right there by Chaminade, gaining some momentum and right now in striking distance as they look to close out this first quarter.
So we've had a big play from Chaminade defensively, and now one that goes their way, specials. They need to get something big now out of their offense. 9 seconds left in the first quarter. This may be the final play of the first quarter. 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line for the Flyers. There's a handoff. Gerbase's got nowhere to go.
You know, right there, he's not going to get credit on the stat line, but Kamari Valentine just absolutely blew that up. Forced Peter Gerbase to bounce that one and right into the arms of Brandon Garcia to clean everything up.
So 1 quarter in the books, and it is Cardinal Hayes with a 9-0 lead. Richie Beelan doing Richie Beelan type things, getting into the end zone as the Cardinals have the 9-0 lead after 1. You're watching it all right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Going, Israel Bonnie Kunda, running back for the New York Jets, and you're watching Varsity Media.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
Back at Gold Star Stadium. Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey, our entire Varsity Media crew started the second quarter. Chaminade looking to get into the end zone. 2nd and 11 off the loss of 1. Murphy airs it out. Finds his receiver, spinning, fumbling the football, but recovering his own fumble as well.
Peter Braz right there, the senior from Dix Hills, does a really good job coming back to the football. Murphy floats it out there a little bit for him, so he comes back and able to turn upfield. Really nice move right there. And if he was able to hold on to this one, he's in for an easy 6. Instead, Chaminade going to have the ball at the 2.
Yeah, was
looking to punch this in.
Was Braz maybe thinking that? This is an easy 6. Wait, hang on a second. I dropped something. So a fortunate bounce for the Flyers. And they've got a 1st and goal now. Murphy checks the call. John Gill, the OC, here for Chaminade. It's Braz cutting it inside, trying to push forward. That big D line says no.
Nothing easy going up the middle right there. Looks like Derek Lopez might have gotten there alongside Joshua Lossman. But if you think about the way that the Chaminade team likes to play football, they pride themselves on being physical and dominating the line of scrimmage. I'd expect to see Coach Claro look to run A-gap once again here and try and punch us in from just a 2-yard line.
You got 84 in there as well. Brady Murray as a tight end for Chaminade.
Murray with 3 touchdowns on the year, so a threat here down at the goal line.
2nd and goal. Murphy airs it out, and that is incomplete. Good coverage on the play for Cardinal Hayes.
Yeah, it's a really nice job. Gerbase would have been short even if he was able to reel that one in. All of a sudden, a difficult play call right here on 3rd down. Do you run it into the teeth of this Hayes defense that's so tough up the middle? Or do you take your chances with Murphy distributing it to one of your various receivers who can really play ball.
Yeah, huge play here for Chaminade. 3rd and goal. It's Sherbasi to the right. And timeout called by Cardinal Hayes.
So, makes a lot of sense for C.J. O'Neal to kind of give his defense a second to think this one over. Chaminade probably looking at 4-down territory right here, so I wouldn't be shocked if you see them run something up the gut with Coach Claro knowing that you can always go back to the well on 4th down and short, but feels like a really, really big possession here. If Chaminade's unable to walk away with points, that's going to be tough for them to respond to. It's an absolute must to score here.
And we told you before about some of the guys for Cardinal Hayes and their recruiting. Well, there's a lot of guys at Chaminade as well getting some looks as well. There you see it.
Yeah, you see Lucas Cottagio, who's just an absolute stud at left tackle for Chaminade, who's committed to Holy Cross with a bevy of FCS offers. Michael Dietrich, being recruited by some of the top academic schools in all of Division III football. You see Johns Hopkins, Tufts up there. A couple Ivies mixed in there as well. He's a stud at receiver. Will Hanley getting some NESCAC interest, and then Dean Schmidt offered by Ithaca. He'd be a great addition to that Cortica rivalry up north. Also a guy who played D1 football. Timmy Battaglia, a guy also garnering high-end academic interest in the likes of University of Chicago, Braz, Trinity, and Union College. Brennan Park, who's our player to watch, has been offered by Trinity College. And Tim Murphy, who's an absolute stud out there, throwing the ball for Chaminade with RPI and Colby in the mix. So a lot of guys who are going to be playing on Saturdays going forward in this game on both sides of the ball. But right here we'll find out what everybody's made of. Really big situation here for this Chaminade offense in the 2nd quarter.
3rd and goal. Murphy calls his own number, follows his blockers, cuts inside. Touchdown, Chaminade.
Really nice job by Lucas Cottagio, just sealing off that edge, and he's just going to follow his running back, Peter Sherbasi, into the promised land. Love this play call right here. Put the ball in the hands of your 215-pound senior quarterback and say, go get it. Knows exactly where he has to get to, and what a response from Chaminade after starting flat out here at Gold Star Stadium.
So big answer there for Chaminade as Justin Jones will attempt the PAT. Timmy Battaglia, your long snapper. Kyle Highland to hold. And the kick is up, and it is good. So an important score for Chaminade after taking a punch or two early. It is 9-7 Cardinal Hayes. You're watching it all right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Back here at Gold Star Stadium, that guy just kicked an important PAT, Justin Jones, and this time he backs up Sincere Darrell, who fumbles the ball into his own end zone. So a touchback for the Flyers after a really important touchdown, just even for the psyche of this football team, for Murphy to lead his guys into the end zone. And now things maybe haven't been going your way offensively, right? But you're only losing by 2 at this point.
Yeah, Dylan, you flash back to halfway through that first quarter, and the Chaminade sideline was, for all intents and purposes, despondent. They were not playing their type of football, and Hayes had gotten out in front of them in a hurry. But I'd say if you're Tom Claro sitting here with 10 minutes left in the second quarter, you got to feel really good just being down 2.
But those good feelings, they can go away in a flash. Take on these Cardinal Hayes Cardinals. So Sincere Durrell, your running back now behind Rich Beelan. Man in motion was Kenji Burnham. Was there too much motion on the offense?
Yeah, it looked like they're pulling guard. Might have gotten out of there a little bit early, Ramdas. And just very frustrating if you're a Cardinal Hayes fan right here. It seems like you can move the ball at will so long as you can stay out of your own way. And right now, that's a big challenge.
So now 1st and 15 from the 15. Looks like it's the same play call.
And it was.
Beelan trying to get it to Kenji into space, but that is incomplete.
Yeah, uncharacteristic of Rich Beelan right there. Missing his receiver on a quick swing pass, and out here on 2nd 15, not where they want to be, behind the chains all day long. You know, Chaminade's thus far had a really tough time tackling on the defensive side of the ball. I'd run it up the middle a few times and see, hey, can you stop Richie Beelan? Can you stop Toure? Some of these stars that you have for Cardinal Hayes.
And especially when you get behind guys like Jaden Mann, right, and Ramdas. Those are 2 300-pounders on the left side of your line. Beelan goes exactly that way. Just as we drew it up in our OC booth.
Yeah, right there, running behind Jaden Mann. And how nice is it as a quarterback to have both your tackles committed to Power 5 schools?
And there's a look at the O-line. Jaden Mann on the left tackle, super athletic. And O'Neal says when he puts it all together in a few years, he is going to be one heck of a football player. A ton of talent. And he's interested. He's excited to see where that takes him.
You want to talk commitment to your quarterback. Well, following him up to Syracuse so you can protect him for the next 4 years doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, who's driving that car?
Probably the old lineman. Trust him more.
That's all right. Beelan's got the food budget, and he goes long, finding Antoine Harvey. Another big connection from Beelan to Harvey. They were 2 last week, and another big one here today.
Antoine Harvey is just a guy who could take the roof off at any time, and Rich Beelan's so good throwing the ball on the move. He's going to plant his feet and just drop this right in the breadbasket to Harvey, who has a safety coming over the top, but that doesn't stop him. Really nice play to give some life back to this Cardinal Hayes offense.
Harvey, that big play receiver from the Bronx. Handoff, Torrey. Pulled backwards. Will Hanley in on the tackle.
And when Chaminade's playing well, they're gang tackling, flowing to the ball, and they're going to really need that all day. Right there is the senior Will Hanley getting there first. But we've seen a lot of missed tackles by Chaminade here. It can be really, really important to get hats on the ball.
2nd and 8 for Hayes. Torrey behind Rich Beeland. Quick out again, looking for Kenji. Spins and goes forward. Thought it was on the bounce, though.
Yeah, we're talking gang tackling right there. You see why. Danny Landrum and Hanley both flow up to the ball. And it looked like right here.
Oh, no, he did catch it.
3rd and 5.
Looked like Burnham was dead to rights right there, but a really great play. And set up a 3rd and manageable once again for your offense.
So from the naked eye there, it looked like that was on the bounce, but he pulled it in from his shoestrings. 3rd and 5. How about Ron Pierre there giving us that great look? Ahmad Torrey tries to fall forward, but he will be short of the first down marker, and it's a decision time, but
Gotta imagine this is 4-down territory for C.J. O'Neal. He's probably not going to ask Richie to kick a 47-yard field goal. And the way your team's been running the ball behind this elite offensive line, got to feel good about 4th and 3.
Here we go, 4th and 3. Quick out, diving catch. Kenji Burnham inside the 25, moves those chains.
Really nice play by Burnham, kind of diving back for this ball. A couple passes in a row, slightly off for Rich Beelan, but his receiver, Kenji Burnham, bails him out and keeps the chains moving. Huge play for number 1.
Burnham, the toughest kid on the team, says C.J. O'Neal, a guy who's battled through injuries and has stayed out there. Fresh set of downs. Look out, pressure comes, and Beelan is sacked. Who else? Louis Daggs bringing it.
D'Agostino with his 14th sack of the season so far through just 7.5 games. Really, really impressive job right here. Flying to the ball, delivers a huge hit, and able to actually wrap up Richie Beelan, something that's been a challenge all day long.
And you need 2, sometimes it feels like, right, to make sure that he goes down. Tom Jemison aiding that D'Agostino sack. 2nd and 19 for Hayes.
Familiar territory for them today. Hasn't been too much of a challenge picking up these big chunks.
Beelan trying to cut it back was Adonis Cotes, and that was incomplete.
Cotes is still a guy who's kind of finding his place within this Hayes offense. He's got a lot of upside and probably is going to have a really bright future in front of him. Right there, just off the mark and unable to connect.
Yeah, CJ said, right, I got a feeling he's going to have some big catches down the road.
If you're Chaminade, these are absolutely crucial scenarios to get off the field and limit the damage. If you allow Hayes to get out of these 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20 type scenarios, you're going to have a real tough time walking away victorious against Richie Beelan.
3rd and 19, Beelan goes through his routes, finds Cotes, and a very good tackle right on the spot by Nick Cuomo.
Yeah, Nick Cuomo, the senior who makes a trip all the way to Mineola from St. James every single morning with a really great tackle right there. And he's probably their best safety, showing you why.
So it sets up a manageable 4th and 10, right? You have those the yards that you need. And even if you get stopped here, if you're Hayes, great field position, right? So it's a win-win for the Cardinals. Beelan back to pass, plenty of protection, flushed out, and there goes Beelan. He's got Sabanji as a blocker upfield, dives down at about the 6. 1st down and goal for Hayes.
Really nice job there by the right side of that offensive line for Cardinal Hayes. I'm talking Blake Beelan, Kevin Mann, and Danny Frazier just shutting down Lou D'Agostino in his pursuit and giving Richie the ability to scramble there and pick up a very needed 1st down as they continue this drive.
And you credit Ahmad Toure there as well, blocking to make sure that Beelan able to get out of the pocket and get the 1st down.
You're the Hayes faithful getting involved here at Mineola.
Beelan back the other way. Schmidt got him low. And he's pulled down. I think a no gain there.
But Lucas Smith was in on that one. And it really is amazing, for Rich Beelan, a guy who's sitting at under 200 pounds, just how difficult it is for these Chaminade Flyers to bring him down. It seems like every time there's not 2 or 3 hats on the ball, he's going to wriggle out of that tackle.
2nd and goal for the Cardinals. Toure to Beelan's left hip. Beelan will go that way. Cuts it inside, sidearms his throw. And it was hard to see if it was Kenji Burnham or if it was Antoine Harvey. They were both there, but incomplete.
Yeah, you like the idea there. Basically, Richie Beelan baiting the Chaminade defender to either commit fly up and tackle me or stay back in coverage. When he sees the aggressive defender flying into his face, tries to hit his receiver, Harvey, just slightly off the mark.
So 3rd and 5. Torrey behind Beelan. Beelan, look out. Pressure comes his way. Goes back across the seam. Incomplete. Good defensive play by Tristan Lombardo.
Yeah, first Beelan's going to get flushed out of the pocket due to a great blitz from the linebacker Lou DiAgostino, and then commits the cardinal sin for any quarterback. When you are rolling out, do not throw against your body into the middle of the field. Fortunate that this one isn't picked off by Lombardo.
Yeah, he was closer to that than Harvey was. And Harvey actually played more like a D-back right there just to make sure that wasn't intercepted in the end zone. So
exactly. Aggressive play call here from Coach O'Neill.
Yeah, here we go.
Gonna punch it in.
And goal. Fans from both teams getting excited. Here is Beelan following the Torrey block. Slings it into the end zone. Touchdown, Antoine Harvey.
What a play right there by Harvey. The senior from the Bronx has had a huge season. They called on him when they needed him last week against Iona Prep, and once again here today, he's there for his quarterback on a huge 4th down, stretching out for that one. And great job by Richie Beelan putting it only where his receiver Harvey could catch that one. Nice little celebration in the end zone. And Cardinal Hayes has to feel good about persevering and ending up with 6 on that drive.
So Sabanji is your long snapper. Kenji Burnham to hold for Rich Beelan. Hold the phone. And it was some motion on Hayes, which backs them up 5 more yards.
Some frustration there from the Hayes sideline.
Oh, you heard that too?
Little.
So now it's a 25-yard PAT attempt for Beelan.
It's a big kick to go to 2 scores.
And no problem for the senior from Harlem. So Beelan, you see him walking off the field. We've said this story before, but I think it bears repeating. An incredible family legacy, right? Dad, Henry, was a defensive end at Vanderbilt. Played there from 84 to 86. Mom, Rita, is a lawyer. Of course, we know older brother Henry, right, at Duke. He threw for 6,000 yards, 55 touchdowns. So Henry, the father, is the 45th pastor of the First AME Church, Bethel in Harlem, right? That's where Willie Colon goes to church. So there was already a connection there before the Beelans even came to Cardinal Hayes. Willie Colon, of course, one of the greatest to have ever played on the Grand Concourse. So Willie's like, listen, you guys looking for a school here to, you know, a great education, a great athletic program as well? Why don't you come to Cardinal Hayes?
You've got to imagine that Henry is praising the Lord more than ever as he sees all of his sons ascend to such heights in athletics as well as academics. It's quite the family legacy when you're going through, Vanderbilt, Duke, Syracuse, Georgia Tech. These are guys who are doing it on the field, but also some big-time brain power in the Beelan family.
And as you mentioned before, right, how about, and it was out of need, Rich Beelan, right, a freshman wide receiver. So right away thrown into the fire of varsity on some Cardinal Hayes teams that did struggle.
Kind of helped you understand how he's so cool and collected under pressure. You know, this is his 4th year being called upon consistently, and he's as good as any as there is in the AAA division this year.
Another flag is thrown. There has been a lot of laundry on the field here at Gold Star Stadium.
Thus far, Cardinal Hayes hasn't really been held back by the amount of penalties and mistakes out here. That was something that C.J. O'Neill was definitely looking to avoid, but still a 2-score lead here about halfway through the second quarter.
Michael Genovese and Ben Bakirs. Excuse me, Park. Brendan Park and Ben Bakirs deep for Chaminade. A booming kick by Beelan. Backs Park up to his own 5-yard line. Here comes Brendan Park. Has blockers up the field. Brendan Park steps it outside of the 45-yard line. But hold the phone. The Hayes players are pointing the other way. They're saying they stripped him, but the official on this near sideline said he was out of bounds when he lost the ball. So it is Chaminade ball.
This is a real close one right here as our player to watch, Brendan Park. Apparently does get stripped, and yeah, it looks like that's about as close as it could be right there. Tough to tell where his feet are, whether he was out of bounds as Beelan made the strip. And wow, you think about it, had that gone the other way, it would have been a backbreaker here early for Chaminade. Even though technically Park might have been out of bounds, really just kind of underscores everything that Richie Beelan's able to do out here. Great kickoff, and the quarterback flies down and almost gets the strip.
So Chaminade on their last drive, which feels like a long time ago, Murphy rushed it in for a score. Battaglia in motion. Little trickery. Murphy. And it was well read by Cardinal Hayes. Nobody was open up the field.
You kind of felt like Chaminade at some point was going to have to start going deep into this playbook. Their bread and butter, running up the middle, Gerbasi just hasn't been successful thus far today. Looking to find new ways to gain some space, but not hitting right there.
And apologies, that was Brady Murray who was the man in motion.
Couple really talented tight ends out here in Battaglia and Murray for Chaminade. When their offense is clicking, you're usually hearing those names being called.
So John Gill drew up a little bit of went to his trick play portion of his playbook. 2nd and 10. Murphy, quick out, and then nowhere for Dietrich to go.
Yeah, it's a really nice play by Aiden Smart, the senior linebacker from Brooklyn, the team captain. He flies up there and does a really good job.
Aiden Smart just featured on NBC, right, as a player of the month. Good feature on Aiden Smart. You can go to the NBC website to view that. The youngest in the family of a lot of girls, a lot of older sisters for Aiden Smart.
Yeah, well, he's got enough masculine energy for that whole household. The unquestioned leader on defense for Cardinal Hayes, and really nice play there.
Trips left for Chaminade, who really need to move the chains here. Murphy, time, goes over the middle looking for Dietrich, and it's intercepted. Amari Rogers.
What a play right there by Amari Rogers, a sophomore from Yonkers, as the Cardinal Hayes faithful go crazy here at Gold Star Stadium. Not a bad throw from Tim Murphy for Michael Dietrich, but it's a little bit of a gator arm action. I thought it was right where it needed to be. Unfortunately for Chaminade fans, that one's going the other way. And another surge of momentum for a dominant Hayes team today.
First pick of the year for Rogers. And they'll go inside of that tent. And no doubt like what they saw from another turnover for their defense. And now, like I called out to you before, I think this is a chance, right? You dial up something deep. Antoine Harvey's been the guy to do it, but don't forget about the guy in the bottom of your screen, Reed Jones.
Yeah,
Yale commit.
Reed Jones, our player to watch going into today. Still hasn't had his name called on, but a guy who can really go off at any time for the Hayes offense.
So a little bit of a delay here, and I think maybe it's something with Beelan's helmet maybe.
ready?
I think we're good to go. So Hayes 1st and 10 from their own 44. Beelan looks for Harvey, but he dropped the football.
Yeah, uncharacteristic drop from the senior right there.
2nd and 10.
Delivered right on target from Richie Beelan. And, you know, that's an opportunity right there for Cardinal Hayes going forward. Right now, Chaminade giving a lot of respect out on the edge, playing off coverage. Especially to the boundary.
Beelan fakes the handoff, goes over the middle. Good knockdown. The intended target was Kenji Burnham.
Yeah, nice pass breakup from the senior Will Hanley right there. We've called his name a few times here today. 6'3", 205 out of Williston Park. It's going to be important for them to get off the field right here. It seems like time and time again when Hayes has faced 3rd and long, 4th and long, they've been able to come up with key conversions. And if Chaminade's going to claw their way back into this one, that simply can't happen here.
Faked handoff. And now Beelan, sometimes where he's at his most dangerous, right? When he gets out and he's able to freelance a little bit. And that one out of bounds, though. Good pressure applied by Lucas Smith.
Yeah, this is a really nice job by Smith, just staying on his feet, staying in front of him. It's so hard one-on-one against a Rich Beelan to bring him down to the ground, but right there, able to force the errant throw and a much-needed opportunity to get off the field for Chaminade.
Michael Genovese deep. And this is the other part of it, right? Like, I mean, listen, Rich Beelan's an incredible athlete, but he is still your quarterback. You've always got to defend for the possibility of a fake with him. And as such, everyone's coming up on the line. Beelan gets it off. Genovese will watch it take a nice Cardinal Hayes bounce downed inside the 15-yard line. So, Pat, a lot of big games coming up here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We go back to the public schools, Freeport and Port Washington. That's in big boy Nassau County football. How about Manhasset Southside, Wantagh, Cold Spring Harbor? Should be a lot of fun, and we're back in the Catholic Football League. St. Peter's, St. John the Baptist, two of the best AA1 programs out there. They will meet up in West Islip on Sunday the 2nd.
A lot of fun to be had as we approach these final couple weeks of the regular season. And really things feel wide open, whether you're talking high school football, college football, or the NFL. I think more parity than you maybe ever seen this year, 2024.
Handoff on first down. And the forward momentum looks like it'll get to about the 17-yard line for Gerbasi.
Really, Chaminade, aside from the nice play by Braz, has struggled to get anything going on the offensive side of the ball today.
2nd and 7.
And it is a tough defense that you're going against in Cardinal Hayes, but they're going to have to figure out a way to get back to the kind of football that they like to play, long, sustainable drives.
Go up the middle again for Gerbasi.
Right there, just running behind their top linemen in Catasio and Katrazakis. It sets up a 3rd and short. And this is more of a scenario that Chaminade likes to play in. You know, give me 3, 4 at a time.
And let's look at those guys up front. Katagio, Katrakazis, Knox, Miller, Pulowski. Durnan is a big part of that as well. Murphy comes our way. Cuts it inside, lowers the shoulder. He didn't need much to get the first down, but he ensured that he moved the chains.
Yeah, that's good field awareness there. And Chaminade really needs to play with some pep in their step if they're hoping to get anything before the half. Got about 34 seconds left.
I'm not sure they are. I think this is maybe just playing safe football right now for Chaminade and going into the locker room, maybe down 16-7. But let's see.
And Dylan, you get it. They're not an offense designed to get big plays and large chunks of yards in a hurry, but at the same time, down 2 scores, probably need to get a little more aggressive than we've seen.
Well, there's a pass to Gerbasi, and he gets out of bounds.
Only 7 seconds left, so at the most, maybe you try and see if you can pick up a quick 15 to 20 right here and go for a Hail Mary.
So he did move the chains. But as you said, 7 seconds left, and they're at their own 38.
Remember, Richie Beelan and Cardinal Hayes are getting the ball to start out that second half. So potential to put some more distance between them and the Chaminade Flyers.
It's a handoff. Oof. Gerbasi met like a Mack truck by Blake Beelan. Kind of a fitting end to this first half, wasn't it?
You know, dominant performance by Cardinal Hayes. You know, a lot of sloppy mistakes that they'll look to get cleaned up in this second half, but nonetheless, got to feel good. Up 2 scores against a top team thus far this year in AAA.
So the reigning champions, led by Blake Beelan. They've got a 16-7 lead. Antoine Harvey. He was about to do a dance. Trust me. Halftime here at Gold Star Stadium. You're watching it all right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
Varsity Media is now opening up our schedule to any teams looking to be on a sportscast. Watching yourself on camera is okay, but hearing your name on a Varsity Media sportscast is like you're a pro.
And look at this opportunity. Feldman behind. Jersey pulled. Feldman! Feldman!
Here comes the 1-0. Hit on the ground at first. Wins up with it. Beats to Varela. It's a no-hitter! And Division's moving on! Nassau County AA champions!
As West barks out the signal. West is going to keep it himself inside the 5 to the goal line. Touchdown! Touchdown, Southside!
Varsity Media offers sportscast coverage for any sport, and our coverage airs live and on demand so everyone can watch the game. Now is the time to be a star on Varsity Media. Contact us to book a sportscast today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck. For the latest news in high school sports, be sure to check out varsitymedia.net or follow us on social media at Varsity Media.
Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net. When it comes to live streaming, Varsity Media does it all. Athletic events, concerts, musicals, graduations, even weddings. Trust Varsity Media when it comes to your live stream event. Contact us today to learn more about Varsity Media's live streaming services at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
Hey parents, how about a bobblehead for your athlete? Bobbleheads are one of the most preferred personalized gift items today, and it's so easy to order. All you need is a photo of your athlete, a model number from our extensive collection of bobbleheads, and the sculpting process begins. 2 proofs are sent for your approval, and once it's approved, in a few weeks, your bobblehead is on the way. It's that simple. Order your bobblehead today by logging into varsitymediapass.com and click catalogs or call 516-403-2050.
Did you know Varsity Media now offers action photography for all sporting events? Available for individuals or teams, we'll send dedicated photographers down to field level to capture your best moments. Our rates are affordable and our photos will leave you with lasting memories for a lifetime. Contact us today, mention this ad, and get $25 off your first order. Email ben@varsitymedia.net or call 516-403-2050.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
Varsity Media is now opening up our schedule to any teams looking to be on a sportscast. Watching yourself on camera is okay, but hearing your name on a Varsity Media sportscast is like you're a pro.
And look at this opportunity. Feldman behind. Jersey pulled. Feldman! Feldman!
Here comes the 1-0. Hit on the ground at first. Twins up with it. Feeds to Varela. It's a no-hitter. And Division's moving on. Nassau County AA champions.
As West barks out the signals. West is going to keep it himself inside the 5 to the goal line. Touchdown. Touchdown, Southside.
Varsity Media offers sportscast coverage for any sport, and our coverage airs live and on demand so everyone can watch the game. Now is the time to be a star on Varsity Media. Contact us to book a sportscast today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck. For the latest news in high school sports, be sure to check out varsitymedia.net or follow us on social media at Varsity Media.
Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the fall, but spots are limited. Contact us today for football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net. When it comes to live streaming, Varsity Media does it all. Athletic events, concerts, musicals, graduations, even weddings. Trust Varsity Media when it comes to your live stream event. Contact us today to learn more about Varsity Media's live streaming services at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
Hey parents, how about a bobblehead for your athlete? Bobbleheads are one of the most preferred personalized gift items today, and it's so easy to order. All you need is a photo of your athlete, a model number from our extensive collection of bobbleheads, and the sculpting process begins. 2 proofs are sent for your approval, and once it's approved, in a few weeks, your bobblehead is on the way. It's that simple. Order your bobblehead today by logging into varsitymediapass.com and click catalogs or call 516-403-2050.
Did you know Varsity Media now offers action photography for all sporting events? Available for individuals or teams, we'll send dedicated photographers down to field level to capture your best moments. Our rates are affordable and our photos will leave you with lasting memories for a lifetime. Contact us today, mention this ad, and get $25 off your first order. Email ben@varsitymedia.net or call 516-403-2050.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
Varsity Media is now opening up our schedule to any teams looking to be on a sportscast. Watching yourself on camera is okay, but hearing your name on a Varsity Media sportscast is like you're a pro.
And look at this opportunity. Feldman behind. Jersey pulled. Feldman! Feldman!
Here comes the 1-0. Hit on the ground at first. Twins up with it. Feeds to Varela. It's a no-hitter. And division's moving on. Nassau County AA champions.
As West barks out the signal. West is going to keep it himself inside the 5 to the goal line. Touchdown! Touchdown, Southside.
Varsity Media offers sportscast coverage for any sport, and our coverage airs live and on demand so everyone can watch the game. Now is the time to be a star on Varsity Media. Contact us to book a sportscast today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck.
Welcome back to Gold Star Stadium, and we are indeed actually facing the sun, and perhaps even from the press box we'll get a tan, but we still have to wear our shades with the sun beating down on us here in the press box. But it's been an interesting first half, right? Like, we wondered sort of how these two teams would come out of the gate, and it was Cardinal Hayes coming off of that loss. You know, they're the defending champions. And they looked more like it, not certainly the best version of themselves, but enough where they made the most out of early plays that were given to them by Chaminade to open up an early lead. Chaminade pushed their way back into this game, but I think this opening portion of the third quarter is going to be really huge. If Hayes punches in another touchdown, you know, now it's going to be really difficult sledding for a Chaminade team that really isn't that instant offense kind of team.
I'm sure C.J. O'Neal had some choice words for his team at halftime. They've been out here dominating thus far, but the scoreboard really doesn't indicate how well they have played. 16-7, so still an opportunity for Chaminade to claw back into this game. If it weren't for a few mistakes, an interception by Beelan, a few unneeded penalties for Cardinal Hayes, this could be a much wider margin at this point in the game. So look for them to get out quick right here. A couple deep passes from Rich Beelan to the likes of some of his top receivers, and see if they can basically get themselves to a 3-score lead early in the third quarter.
Let's take a look at some of those first half stats as you see Beelan and his boys warming up before the start of the second half, and not a lot of big numbers put up here, right? I mean, obviously Beelan's been the busier of the two quarterbacks. You see there 132 yards passing for Beelan, and you can also see the third down conversions. What we don't have there were the 2 fourth down conversions as well for Cardinal Hayes.
Yeah, Cardinal Hayes really been at their most comfortable in 3rd and 4th and long, which is obviously a situation that every coach wants to avoid, but Rich Beelan been able to bail them out of trouble on a few different occasions. It's going to be really important for the Chaminade defense to be able to buckle down when they're able to get Hayes behind the chains and actually get off the field here if they hope to win in the second half.
Thanks to Thomas Gamba and Magnus Healy for those stats, and a lengthier halftime for those guys. So you kind of wonder, right? Claro, Elder, Gill, what was the message? What was that conversation like in that Chaminade locker room?
It's probably some soul searching. If I know Coach Claro, he prides himself on physicality being the hallmark of his program. And right now they've been out physical by Hayes thus far. Hayes doing a really good job at the line of scrimmage, really dictating the tone. And that's probably something that Coach Claro challenged his team on at halftime. Hey, are you guys going to come out here and be who we are, be what's gotten us to 4-0 in league play? We shall see, and it's going to be real important for Chaminade to do so if they want to win.
By the way, did you snag one of those Gold Star burgers you went down to get?
Dylan, I was desperate for a Gold Star burger, but unfortunately the rest of the fan base had the same idea. I found myself parked deep in the line, and I figured I probably should be back up here for the start of the third quarter.
You didn't just go to the front and be like, I'm Pat Godfrey, I'm talent right now.
Listen, you can always play that card, right? But, you know, I pride myself on humility. I think that's what makes Varsity Media so great is, you know, even though we're a top-flight news organization, we are also humble. We bring that grit and that humility to the table, so I didn't want to play that card.
Yeah, but now you're humble and you're hungry.
Humble and hungry. I wish I was playing some football. That's a good combination.
There you go. And that's what C.J. O'Neal wants from his guys as well, right? They want to have that humility even though they are the reigning champions, and to have that hunger, which he said they didn't have. He said Iona last week was the hungrier team. And remember, too, what an epic championship game that was that came down to the wire like we showed you on Varsity Media. Beelan finding Charlton in the back of the end zone at Fordham. Some wildness even after that, but Iona had this game circled, right, last week. Going to Columbia, they get the dub. They look like they've got the juice now in this league. but that's what Cardinal Hayes is kind of dealing with right now is handling success.
And Cardinal Hayes not used to dropping games in New York City. They like to own the 5 boroughs in this league. So I'm sure C.J. O'Neill challenged his team going into this week. Hey, we've got another opportunity against a top flight team right here in Chaminade. How are we going to respond after we've been punched in the mouth? Are we going to get better from it? Are we going to learn from it? Are we going to launch another state title run from it? And so far, early sledding today says that these Cardinal Hayes Cardinals have responded in the best way.
Well, his program has kind of prided itself on that chip on their shoulder, right? As sort of no one believes in us. We're the underdog. So it's a little bit of unfamiliar territory for this year's group that they're kind of dealing with.
No doubt. Not ever easy to be at the top of the mountain and have everybody gunning for you. And that's what Cardinal Hayes has to contend with this year. Fortunately for them, they've got as much talent or more than anybody else in the league, but you still got to come out and execute on a weekly basis. So thus far, even though there's been a couple of sloppy plays mixed in for Hayes, they've had the fire in their belly. They've been out physicaling Chaminade on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be really important for them to continue that into this second half against a gritty Chaminade bunch that knows this game is far from over.
He quoted in our conversation Nick Saban, who once referred to success as being rat poison, and CJ went a step further. It says it's poisonous to the mentality of young kids, adults as well, but especially for young kids. And he said so far, that's been the biggest hurdle, just knowing that this group, they've got to work even harder to repeat. They've got to find that other gear without that added motivation of that chip on their shoulder.
No doubt. Definitely a team that's been playing with some swagger out here early today and some great field position consistently. So we'll be able to see if they're able to keep that trend going on this opening kickoff of the second half.
Jones with a good kick. Backed up Courtney Simmons, who goes towards his own sideline, has blockers up the field, forced out of bounds at about the 19-yard line.
Yeah, really nice tackle there by Kyle Highland, the senior from Rockville Center, flying down. And for once today, pinning Rich Beelan in his own territory with 80 yards to go.
There's a good look at the future Syracuse QB.
So you got a little extra padding right there around the midsection. He's been taking some hits all day long and continuing to fight forward.
So Hayes starts on their own 20-yard line. First drive of the second half. 16-7 lead for the Hayesmen. Sincere Durrell pushes forward, gets a couple of yards.
Star linebacker Lou D'Agostino on the play right there. And for Chaminade, I know they're calling on guys like Lucas Smith and D'Agostino to step up and play the way they're capable of. They're able to cause some mayhem in the backfield in the first half, but more often than not, unable to bring down the Hayes Cardinals.
Hayes with a tight end look there as well. You see number 10, Isaiah Thomas, provide a little extra protection for Durrell. Finds a hole, but that hole, Pat, closed pretty quickly.
Once again, another great play by Will Hanley, who's having himself just a huge afternoon out here in Mineola. And 3rd and 6 scenario, this would be really big for Chaminade to get off the field. Still down by 2 scores, hoping to claw back into this one.
We showed you that stat from the first half. 5 of 8 Hayes on 3rd down conversions in that first half. Beelan gets it to Kenji Burnham's one hand, but Burnham unable to bring that in, and that's exactly what you mentioned, right? It's what the doctor ordered for the Flyers. A 3-and-out and a deep punt for Beelan.
Yeah, I love this play call here on 3rd down. They're going to blitz their senior linebacker, Dean Schmidt, up the middle, who's just going to rush Richie Beelan's throw by a quick hair, and that was enough to get the throw slightly off target and force the punt.
So it's Michael Genovese deep for Chaminade. Beelan back to punt. He'll do so from about his own 10-yard line. A wobbly snap, gets it off, nearly blocked, or did Dean Schmidt get a piece?
Dean Schmidt was right there, but either way, what a great result if you're a Chaminade Flyers fan. Lost that field position battle the entire first half, and here an opportunity with a short field to try and march down and bring this one to a one-score game.
You heard the phrase, right? Win one for the Gipper. Well, we've won by having Gipper with us as our terrific graphics partner. And listen, if you're any athletic program out there, high school, college, or whatever, you would do yourself a great service to have the fine folks at Gipper on your team.
And, you know, it's no longer the Reagan administration. You don't have to use archaic technology. Use our folks over at Gipper to make life easy.
And that was even before dial-up internet. You don't have to worry about mom needing to make a phone call and hang on, I'm trying to get onto AOL. A completion inside the 30-yard line as Brendan Park, our impact player offensively for Chaminade, with the grab.
Yeah, really nice job threading the needle between a couple of Hayes defenders right there to find Brendan Park, who's having himself a really nice afternoon.
Murphy in the first half, 4 of 11 for 29 yards in the air.
All of a sudden, 2nd and 3. This really opens up the playbook for Chaminade, gives them a lot more variety of what they can look to do here.
Murphy over the middle, has a man downfield. Touchdown, Chaminade.
Huge.
Brady Murray.
I told you earlier, Brady Murray came into this game with 3 touchdowns on the year. That right there was his 4th, and he is just such an electric weapon as they get down near the goal line. Love this play, and really nice job by that offensive line, giving Tim Murphy the opportunity to make a 5-step drop, set his feet, and the 29-yard touchdown for the junior tight end.
What a huge score. We said it right out of the break. If Chaminade could get on the board first, we've got a ball game here and put a little bit of some energy here into Gold Star Stadium. Justin Jones with the PAT, which is up and good. And Chaminade within 2 now, 16-14 the score after another touchdown by Murray. You're watching it all right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
All the latest Varsity Media updates, including our game schedules, be sure to follow us on social media at Varsity Media, the home for New York high school sports. Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck.
Back here in Mineola, 29-yard touchdown from Tim Murphy to Brady Murray, the junior from Rockville Center. His 4th touchdown of the year on his 5th reception.
80% of the time, the man likes to score. Pretty good right there. You know, Dylan, we at halftime discussed a little bit how important the opening drives of this second half would be for both Chaminade and Cardinal Hayes. And I think if you're a Flyers fan, couldn't ask for anything better than a quick 3 and out and a quick score on the back of that.
The return from about the 10-yard line. That was Courtney Simmons.
And once again, Kyle Highland with a nice tackle running down there. Number 24, making a big impact on special teams.
So Chaminade, they've won a lot of hearts and minds around here, right? With the start that they've had, and again, coming off of a 1-8 year last year, new staff, new energy. You opened the season with a big win against St. Anthony's, a non-league win out at Cy Donnelly Field. So you get the attention of the league, and you continue that with a perfect start. But now these are the defending champs who are on your fields.
Yes, the Chaminade faithful need a reason to really get into this one after being quiet throughout most of the first half, but definitely getting a little bit louder here at Gold Star Stadium as they can feel their team creeping back into this.
The Hayes faithful, they remain loud. They have been so from jump. Beelan fakes the handoff, looks to the man in motion. That's Cotez down the sideline. Adonis finally forced out of bounds.
Yeah, we called it out that Cotez was a guy who they're looking at to start contributing in a big way to this offense. Gets going right there. The junior's just so fast once you get him into open space.
And now we see Hayes looking to move a little bit quick here. Beelan hands off, and that was blown up right away. Nowhere for William Thomas to go.
It's a really great play by the junior, Tom Jemison, out of Babylon. He's only about 5'11", 200 pounds, but he plays a lot bigger than that on the defensive line for Chaminade. He was in there in a hurry.
Apologies, that was Torrey with the run. Loss of 1, 2nd and 11.
So Jemison right there. He's fired up. Not easy sledding against this Hayes offensive line that's vaunted for a reason.
Schmidt was coming, and they get the tackle down low.
Yeah, Anthony Trapani, a couple of undersized guys on back-to-back plays. Trapani only about 5'7", 160 pounds, but he plays like he's Ray Lewis back there, linebacker, flying upfield, and just nowhere to go for Tariq.
The way that Trapani has played this year, he's a guy who will have no problem getting the Gold Star burger.
No doubt.
They part the seas for him. Fumble! Beelan falls on it. No, wait. Yes, he did. It squirted loose again, but he was down at the time. So again, some issues, it appears, with the snaps, which is a little bit hard to believe because unless it's a different, that was actually in the handoff, right, with Torrey.
Yeah, just a sloppy exchange right there. Uncharacteristic mistake from Rich Beelan. And you know, Dylan, we always talk about it. Football is such a game of emotion. You can feel a lot of momentum swinging over to that Chaminade sideline as they've got a reason to believe.
So Beelan to punt. Takes the low snap on the bounce and gets it off. What a punt as well. Backed up Genovese, who it looks like called for a fair catch.
Knee might have been on the ground as he caught that one right there. But yeah, what a job by Richie Beelan, just taking the bad snap, making the most of it, and still getting off a really strong punt to flip the field.
Well, we showed you the recruiting before, right, for some of the current guys on Chaminade. Some next-level guys there as well. How about these guys doing their thing, representing Chaminade in the collegiate ranks?
One thing I love about this graphic is just diversity of where these guys are going. You got guys like Donovan Wood going playing major Power 4 football, but on the flip side, you got guys like Capolino going to University of Chicago, one of the best schools of economics in the entire world.
Gerbasi pushes forward to about the 45-yard line on that first down run.
Dylan, both these teams, great backgrounds of developing guys and sending them off to success at the next level.
Gerbasi only about 1.3 yards per carry in the first half. Got 3 on that one. Takes the handoff, pushes forward, and you got a little extra help as well. Saw that 66 in there, Jack Durnan with the push.
Yeah, right there. They just ran behind Declan Miller and C.J. Knox, who did a really good job opening a hole. And it's not about hitting home runs for the Chaminade offense. It's about 4 yards in a cloud of dust, and Tim Murphy will take 3rd and 3 all day.
Hayes stacking the box. And it's Murphy. Can he find a hole? Murphy pushes forward. Did he get enough? It looks like he did. Move those chains.
This is a really good job just being patient by Tim Murphy. He's waiting for his lead blocker, Lucas Cottagio, to set this up, and it's a little bit of a slow developing play, but you'll see 58 lock on there, and then he just right off of his hip surges forward for the first down. Really good job by a couple of seniors executing in a big situation.
So on that play, Murphy lost his lid. So he's got to sit out for a play. Sean Carnevale, number 12, in at least for this play at QB.
Carnevale, just a sophomore, but a guy who they think has a big future in this program. Let's see if he's ready when his number is called.
He'll look to run it, and he'll look to get right out of bounds. You saw right away, right? Like Hayes kind of sniffing out, oh, this is the backup QB?
Yeah, I mean,
Suleiman Yalo.
Bit of a gutsy play call right there. Everybody on earth is probably expecting just a little handoff up the middle, make life easy on your sophomore quarterback, but they decided to go for it, and Diallo said, not so fast.
Yeah, Suleiman, the senior from the Bronx, one of the captains, a great worker. He's a guy who doesn't start all the time, but he's still a leader, has a great attitude for this Cardinal Hayes team. 2nd and 13. Murphy airs it out, and that was complete to Braz.
Really nice job with the toe tap by the senior right there. He's been one of the few guys really able to get going in this receiving core for Chaminade today. Sets up another third and manageable.
Braz, second catch on the day.
Obviously had the big catch there in that first quarter. Set up their only touchdown. First touchdown.
Yeah, that was a 23-yard reception. Third, and 4. Murphy, he'll try to get it again. Angles his way. He'll be short of the first down marker by about a yard.
Yeah, it looks like Jaden Biggio right there, able to ultimately bring him down. And now a big decision here. I'd assume that they'll leave the offense on the field at about the Hayes 38-yard line, 4th and 1.5.
I always like these kind of plays when you leave your offense on, like you trust and believe in these guys to get that 1 yard that you need.
And this is a what are we made of type play for both sides right here.
And Murphy will go under center. So
big boy football.
Yeah, he'll look to follow CJ Knox forward here. Did he move early? No flags.
Yep. Dylan, I thought he moved early right there. He was leaning into it before that snap went off.
And I think Knox did as well. There were no flags. Let's see. Here's a look again. Watch this before that was just at the end, but we'll get the snap.
And this is likely going to be a fortunate break for Chaminade. Judging by the spot on the field, I think they got it. But this is a ball that should have been blown dead before the play ever started.
All right, here it is again.
You see that lean starts and then the snap.
Yeah.
And even though that's subtle, by the letter of the law, that should be 5 yards backwards and a much different looking 4th and 7.
All right, let's see. And they did get it.
What a big conversion for Chaminade right there to keep things moving. As I've been mentioning ad nauseum today, it's really important for them to just stay on schedule. They like to have long, sustained drives, and especially against a Hayes defense that doesn't necessarily rotate in a lot of guys along that defensive line, maybe starting to wear them out up front.
Ken Breitenstein resetting the game clock to 3:41, or 3:12, excuse me. And now he runs it. So sometimes you need breaks, right, in this sport, and perhaps a break going Chaminade's way there. First and 10 from the 36-yard line. There's Gerbasi. He will spin his way to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, once again, Kamari Valentine just causing chaos up front and gets cleaned up on the back end by Suleiman Diallo. Peter Gerbasi, usually a guy who's kind of the heartbeat of this Chaminade offense, struggling to really get much going on the ground today. But of course, tough sledding against the likes of the reigning state champs up front.
So Josiah Howard as well, right? 92 in on the line right now. When Beelan goes both ways, you got to give him a little bit of a break from here and there. Murphy out, trying to find Braz. Pushed out of bounds by Tyrone Smith. How about Tyrone Smith too, right? A year ago, 8 takeaways, 5 defensive touchdowns.
Yeah, just really stats that are kind of unheard of. He's an absolute stud who really has his best football in front of him.
And it's interesting too because he's one of a number of what you call kind of young seniors, right? He won't turn 17 until this his senior year.
Yeah, he's all the more impressive really when you think about it.
Oh, I'm saying Beelan jumps.
These are the kind of self-inflicted mistakes that C.J. O'Neill told us are going to be so important to avoid out here today. You're talking about a Chaminade team that has a limited playbook for, third and long type scenarios. Giving them a 3rd and 4 right here is a big gift.
So now they'll march those yards off. I'll call it a 3rd and a long 3.
Got to be 4 down territory here for Chaminade as well.
Murphy, Gerbasi, good block for him, but he overthrows Braz.
He had a window there to hit his receiver, Peter Braz, over the middle. Ball sails on him just a little bit. And now it's decision time. Would fully expect Coach Claro to leave his guys out there and see if they can pick up another conversion.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder, is it too early? You're a minute left in the 3rd quarter. Maybe you try cadence, maybe call a timeout and go another play. Or maybe you just get that because obviously Murphy went to a sideline. But I think maybe you try some cadence first.
Yeah, I definitely say hard count for starters, have everybody look back to the sideline, and then next time it's a hot count. I don't know if you can afford to use a timeout in a game that could be really close down the stretch here.
Here we go. 4th and 3. Murphy, the out route, trying to find Gerbasi. Ooh, and a late flag. Hang on a second.
I wonder what this is right here. Looked like Hayes had gotten himself off the field, but gonna have to see what our white hat.
What an important call. And looks like it's gonna be a face mask. Hayes taking their offense off the field. But which way is it a face mask?
This is a really consequential call with just about a minute left here in the 3rd quarter. Chaminade not a team that can score quickly, so they got to capitalize on these sustained drives when they have them.
So interesting, right? Both teams brought out their offense. Hayes brought out their offense. Chaminade brought out their defense. So both kind of conceding for the turnover on downs, right? But yet there's still this huddle among the officials. Ken Breitenstein wearing the white hat today. You've got umpire Paul Rupp, back judge Joe Gilkin, or the field judge is Gilkin. The back judge is Tommy Smith. Jimmy Graham, your lineman.
These guys know how consequential a call this is going to be. We'll see what it is.
Personal foul. I think he said personal foul on Chaminade. Let's see it again. I don't know if we can pick it up here at the end of the play.
Wonder if there's any extracurriculars over here on the sideline. And yeah, it looked like Trebasi might have just grabbed the face mask of Brandon Garcia there, down on the ground. And didn't really seem like there was too much there either way, Dylan, but this time breaks in favor of Cardinal Hayes.
Well, I would say the official who threw the flag was right there. So I give them the benefit of the doubt there. So here we go. Not only do you get a stop if you're Hayes, you move the ball up to the 45-yard line. Sincere Durrell pushed backwards. Will Hanley has had himself a day defensively for Chaminade. Number 8 from Williston Park.
Will Hanley, yeah, he's really been the player of the day on the defensive side of the ball. Usually we're used to calling out Dean Schmidt's name all day long. Some of these other guys, DiAgostino. But today, Hanley making sure that you see number 8 everywhere.
Hanley a year ago started as a safety. Now an outside linebacker, 6'3", 205. Beelan back to pass. Goes near sideline. Reed Jones thought he had a big catch. And the official on this side says no.
You know, he had the best vantage point of anybody in the house, but I can tell you the Hayes faithful not happy with that call right there. They thought that Reed Jones was able to scoop that one up off the carpet. And official deems that he had trapped the ball on the way down.
So 3rd and 9. 20 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Hayes, that safety that they got early on, that's the difference right now between these two teams. And doesn't that always seem to be the case?
Yeah.
Like a safety or a missed extra point looms large. 3rd and 9. Sincere Durrell, the lone back to Rich Beelan's right hip. Beelan takes the high snap, goes back across his body, looking for Reed Jones, and he is eaten up right at the 45.
Yeah, Ben Bekiers is all over this one. You got to like the play call, play against the aggression on Chaminade's defense by setting them up with a little wide receiver screen, but Bekiers saw it and flew up there and makes the great play to force a 4th and long.
3 quarters in the books, just 2 points separating Cardinal Hayes and Chaminade, thanks to the Murphy-Murray combination. 4th quarter coming up next on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Solomon Thomas with the New York Jets, and you're watching Varsity Media.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Back at Gold Star Stadium, Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey, our entire Varsity Media crew. 4th and 9. It looks like Rich Beelan set to punt. Michael Genovese is deep for the Flyers. Left hand up for Genovese, as you see it there, protecting himself from that glare, from that sun coming his way. Low snap. What a punt by Beelan. Genovese dives forward to corral that football.
Chaminade going to have to go from their own 24. Big punt right there by Rich Beelan with that great hang time to flip the field.
It's an interesting game, isn't it, Pat? Because it's not that, like we did that Iona Hayes championship game last year, and that was just like incredible, right?
Fireworks.
Like big play after big play. This is more sort of just in the trenches, just battles, right? Like
the game is really reflective of the personalities of these two teams. They both pride themselves on out-physicaling you up front, and it's really been a war in the trenches all day long. I don't think our skill guys have made as much of an impact as we might have expected today, but it's going to be a close one down the stretch.
Trips right, and now it's Dietrich. A little bit of a fake. The misdirection works for Murphy, who gets himself to about the 30.
He's running behind a nice pancake block from Declan Miller right there. Makes life easy, and getting 6 on first down is just music to the ears of any Flyers fan.
Declan Miller, of course, you remember his older brother Seamus, terrific linebacker. Miller's out of Garden City, 6'3", 285 as a junior.
This guy just kind of does everything right. Could wind up being a pretty big recruit out of Mineola next year.
Murphy hands off, and it is difficult to run up the middle against this fearsome threesome up front.
Yeah, once again, Kamari Valentine. Kamari doesn't necessarily get as much attention as Blake Beelan, isn't yet committed to play at the next level, but getting some big-time FCS interest. And in my eyes, Kamari Valentine might be the very best defensive lineman in all of New York State right now. He's dominated my Elite 5 football camp in Brooklyn for 3 years straight, and hard to find a more physical guy up front.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Woo!
3rd and 3. Murphy goes back across the other way. He did have Battaglia up the field, but that is incomplete. And now the punting unit on for Chaminade.
And Jaden Biggio all over Battaglia. Doesn't give him a chance right there. And this is a huge stop for a Cardinal Hayes defense that has been allowing Chaminade to move the chains here in this second half.
Antoine Harvey. If they don't have that nickname yet, they should put Big Play as his nickname. We saw his grab before. Now he's going to look to try to make a big punt return against Justin Jones. Jones has been great in all aspects of special teams, and man, Sabangi almost got him again. And this time, kind of accidentally, Genovese down that ball at the 45-yard line. So, Pat, we take a look at the upcoming schedule for Cardinal Hayes. How about those guys, too, huh? Prolific Labs, what a great job with all those images. But you see coming up, Stepinac, St. Anthony's, and that Mount game is down the line. That's their big Turkey Bowl game up there on Murdoch Avenue in the Bronx. But a lot we'll know about Hayes and where they will fall in the upcoming weeks.
Stepinac obviously down a little bit this year, but St. Anthony's always a test. C.J. O'Neill loves to walk away victorious on Thanksgiving Day against his alma mater every year.
Beelan has a blocker in the official, and he pushes himself forward. If we could show that again, he would have been hit for a loss. And then what a smart football play. Just
got to use the whole field right
100%.
there. Just gets a little pick.
But right here, they're coming, right? Flushed out.
He says,
look out.
There you go. Lucas Smith, meet Mr. Zebra.
And Hayes tried to go quick, but maybe a little bit too quick. False start on the guys from the Grand Concourse.
If Hayes is unable to close this one out, you know the penalties will be a big reason why. Their offense definitely able to move the ball successfully all day, but some of those self-inflicted wounds starting to add up.
Handoff and a TFL.
Looks like that was Trapani again. The undersized linebacker just flying around the field, making his presence known.
Yeah, 570, 160 out of North Belmore. Always brings it. And do you think those penalties and all those things like that maybe would keep a coach up at night? Maybe that's why CJ got the nice house in Lido Beach, right?
Yeah, at least listen to the waves, maybe make it a little bit easier.
Faked handoff, completion. Ken G. Burnham brought down at the 30-yard line. A big conversion for Hayes.
Yeah, Ken G just making some huge plays out here today. That was a giant conversion.
Beelan fakes the handoff, goes to the right side, finds another receiver, and bouncing it to the outside and making that catch was Adonis Cotes. And he'll move the chains again, and now a little bit of rhythm here for Cardinal Hayes offensively.
You get the sense they've wanted to go no huddle all day long, and finally stacking up some good plays back to back to back, putting Chaminade's defense into the boiler.
Beelan keeps it, falls forward at about the 15-yard line.
And that is a nice option to just run Beelan up the gut whenever you need 3 or 4.
2nd and 6.
2nd and 6 for the Hayesmen. They went from hurry up to slow on down. Trips left. And more flags.
Looks like yet another false start out here for the Cardinals offense.
I can see it now, right? CJ like on his back porch. Serenity now. Serenity now.
Yeah, as he's clearly agitated on the sideline. I think he's repeating something like that to himself, maybe a little less friendly.
There's CJ back in his day. Played at Hayes' biggest rival, Mount St. Michael. Empty backfield for Beeland. Beeland slings it, sidearm looking for Burnham and a flag.
Tristan Lombardo is in one-on-one coverage right there on Burnham, and just a little bit too much contact right there. And that's just such a tough situation against Kenji Burnham. He's an absolute burner, as his last name would indicate, one of the fastest guys on the field. And not an easy guy to be D'ing up one-on-one in a situation like that.
We almost had the call from Ken Breitenstein. It's like a half of a call. Here we go. Defensive holding. So here it is again.
Yeah, it looked like he grabbed that jersey there late as Burnham got a step on him.
So it doesn't move the chains, but it is a 2nd and 1 for Hayes. Torrey pulled backwards by Schmidt.
Looked like to my eye that was enough to move the chains right here.
I don't know. I think they... No gain, perhaps.
Authoritative tackle right there by Dean Schmidt.
I thought it was a smart tackle in the sense, too, where you pull him sideways backwards, right? Because the momentum should bring Torrey forward. Beelan rolls right. Pressure comes. What a great block as well. He'll get the first down. We'll show that again. I want to say it might have been Torrey on the block because the pressure was coming from the Flyers. Here it is again, Pat.
Yeah, it's a really nice job by Torrey of kind of sealing that off right there and being able to get upfield. Yet another tackle from Will Handley. So one thing to think about is with this 2-point lead currently for Cardinal Hayes, if they were able to punch in a touchdown, convert an extra point, this becomes a 2-score game yet again. So really big time to buckle down for the Chaminade defense if they hope to win this one.
So timeout Hayes. And as they talk this over, we take a look at some of their players who are competing on the next level.
Yeah, a lot of absolute studs have come through this program in recent years. You see Henry Beelan, who started a few games at quarterback at Duke last year. Really talented guy. Damon Barnes at Cornell. Elijah Fuentes up at Syracuse playing for Fran Brown, who loves recruiting the New York City area. Cleveland Charlton, if you're a AAA football fan, you'll never forget his game-winning touchdown last year over Iona Prep. Absolute legend within this program, and Gavin Taylor out at Central Connecticut. So C.J. O'Neill has made a habit through his 22 seasons of getting guys to the next level, getting the most out of his guys, and that trend continues at Grand Concourse.
Gavin Taylor's like, give me the small, please. I want to show off these guns.
Yeah, he must be shopping next to me at Baby Gap.
So that's just a few. There are a lot of guys who have come through the program, and it's such an incredible, and I know that you love these New York City success stories, but Cardinal Hayes football, man, I mean, you know, it's the South Bronx. It's a difficult area. A lot of these players, they don't have a lot to work with. But they make the most of their opportunities.
And you know what? It's so important for these communities to have, you know, leaders that these guys come back. You know, after you graduate from Hayes, you're called upon to lead in everything that you do, and these guys exemplify that.
Antoine Harvey thought he would get 6, but Ben Bakir said no.
It's a big tackle right there in open space, as this Chaminade defense knows the importance of buckling down right now, trying to get a stop.
And if you haven't been to Hayes, right on the Grand Concourse there in the back of the school, a very small, not even a half field, I want to say, football field in the back next to the Metro North yards there.
A lot of challenges for these guys, having to go to Columbia for some games, a lot of games up at 161 as well through the years.
Beelan goes corner of the end zone, incomplete. Leaping up and nearly making the grab was Reed Jones. And again, it was Bakir's defending.
He's been trying to get Reed Jones going all day long, the 6'3" Yale commit. You'd think that'd be a perfect scenario, but just a little bit too hot for number 4 to reel that one in, and they'll go to 3rd and 7. And a huge couple plays right here to decide this one.
Yeah, trips left for Hayes. Beelan looks to his sideline. Duffy Brennan, second year as the offensive coordinator. Sincere Darrell, no, that's the fake, got me, because Beelan goes to the end zone, gets Ken G. Burnham, and a late flag as well. Is this on a celebration, perhaps?
By the way, Dylan, I'm starting to think that the G in Ken G stands for greatness, because he's been bringing it all day whenever they need a big play out here. Number 1's been a reliable target for Rich Beelan.
Either that or G Money.
There we go.
So another conversation among the officials. Will this be a flag picked up?
We shall see. It's a big call right now.
I think it's offsetting fouls. Still 4th down. I don't know. Let's see what we could see here in the corner.
Let's see what he calls right here.
Was Beelan ahead of the line of the scrimmage when he threw the football?
That could have been it. I'm trying to figure out what this call was right here, and it looked like he was close, but at the same time, it might have been a backwards pass. So not sure if that was the ultimate call they made. Either way, what a consequential penalty right there to move Cardinal Hayes back to 4th and 24. Needing to punch one in right here.
Yeah, either that or you turn the ball over. There's no first down to get. Big play in this game. Beelan flushed out. Beelan to the sideline, slings it, sidearm. It's a 50-50 battle for the ball. Doesn't even matter. I think it was caught by Harvey, but short. So it's a turnover on downs.
Nice job by Bakirs, able to break that one up right there. And the incomplete pass means that this is going all the way back out to the 24-yard line of Hayes, as opposed to pinning Chaminade's offense down deep. So with just 4 minutes and 42 seconds left here at Gold Star Stadium, Chaminade's going to get another drive, the chance to pull out in front of the reigning state champs.
So Chaminade, can they capitalize on that turnover on downs? Murphy, hand off to Gerbasi. We saw Valentine hunting. So we're getting word that was an illegal forward pass, so he was in front of the line of scrimmage, and then on top of that, an unsportsmanlike. So that's
Burnham for spinning the ball right there.
So that's what pushed them back.
You know, we've kind of been saying it all day. Are these penalties going to add up to really hurt Cardinal Hayes? And you're starting to see that play out, leaving the opening for Chaminade's offense to drive down and pull ahead.
Murphy surveys the situation, goes over the middle, and he finds Brendan Park. If he didn't trip on his own, he might have been able to get the first down.
Park with the reception. 3rd and 3.
So yet another 3rd and manageable. It seems like that's been the story this second half for Chaminade's offense, is just kind of moving the ball in small little chunks and getting big conversions.
Murphy out route, Gerbasi.
Gerbasi caught this one, but it looks like he's going to get down just short of the line to gain. So looking at a 4th and 1.
4th and 1.
And presumably an easy decision right here for Coach Tom Clara to go for it.
Yeah, I think especially too, right? 3:10 left, you're down by 2. An officials timeout, so maybe they'll bring out these chains again. But hang on. The guys from Chaminade, was the football moved? And the Hayes guys are apoplectic on their line.
Understandably so. This one looked pretty clearly short to me. I think you see the chains confirm that right here. Yeah, it's short about a half a yard. So Chaminade going to have to pick up at least 18 inches on this 4th down if they hope to keep their opportunity for a win here alive.
Well, there might be more coming, but right now, the biggest play of the game. We've seen Murphy call his own number and get these first downs. He will be under center. The last time, he might have took a little extra step early. Murphy tries for the hard count. And here we go. Push, spin.
It went right into the teeth of that Hayes defense. This is going to be close depending on the spot of the ball.
Guys on both sides pointing.
I really think this could have gone either way, Dylan. He got a little bit of forward progress, but was it enough?
We'll show you the replay while they peel bodies off the pile.
And let's see.
Oh, the chains again.
Once again, did they get the necessary foot and a half or so? That was just good on good right there, right behind your senior center, C.J. Knox.
The chain crew getting a lot of TV time today. First down, Flyers.
First down. What a big play right there to keep things moving. And Dylan, one thing worth keeping an eye on is just the clock at this junction in the game. Chaminade doesn't like playing hurry up. They prefer to huddle after every single play. But
I was going to ask you that.
Left.
At some point, right? You've got to take a shot.
Exactly. You got to start getting a little bit more aggressive here, and at a bare minimum, picking up the pace in between snaps.
Murphy. Braz gets out of bounds at about the 44.
Braz continues a great day today. What I believe is either his third or fourth catch right there. And done a good job getting that toe tap on the sideline.
Braz with the reception. 2nd and 1.
So a 9-yard reception for Peter Braz, the senior from Dix Hill. 2nd and 1 for the Flyers.
You know, we've been waiting for a shot. No better time than right here. 2nd and 1. Push it.
And it was pushed to Battaglia. But 28 kind of turned the wrong way.
Yeah, just a slight miscommunication between the quarterback and the senior tight end. Tim Murphy would have loved to get that ball out in front of him, just behind number 28, Timmy Battaglia. And boy, would that have been a huge play if they're able to connect there. Instead, brings up 3rd and 1.
And now if you're Chaminade, you got to just take care of the down and distance, right? Let's get a first down, and then we'll reset from there.
Yeah, nothing guaranteed about 1 yard over 2 plays against a defensive line like you're going up against with Cardinal Hayes.
Park motions towards the line. And Murphy pushes forward. You don't need the chains this time. He will get the first down.
And that's one of the best elements of Tim Murphy's game, just his ability to find a soft spot in the defense, use that big body to pick up some key conversions.
Yeah, 6'2", 215 out of Plandome. Timeout called by Chaminade.
So, should be a fun one down the stretch here.
And a fun stretch drive of the regular season as well. Let's take a look at what is upcoming for the Flyers. So you leave here, right? You get all rested up, you get healthy, and let's make a trip to New Rochelle.
Yeah,
take on Joe Spags' Iona Prep Gales.
Nothing easy about making that trip up north to New Rochelle. Iona Prep obviously just took care of business last week on the road against Cardinal Hayes.
Is that Wilmot Road, I think, right?
Yeah, Chaminade's going to have their hands full, and then finishing against an always gritty Xavier team that throws a lot of different looks at you on offense. So nothing easy about those last 2 games to close out the regular season, but Chaminade with an opportunity here to put themselves in pole position for that #1 overall seed in the AAA heading into this playoffs.
It's warm here in Mineola, right, on this Sunday afternoon. I don't think it's going to be too warm at Aviator Sports Complex on Friday, November 1st at around 8 o'clock.
Absolutely not. You got married there, correct?
Well, I did. On the ice. Braz in and out of his hands.
Braz right there, able to get a step on Tyrone Smith in coverage, but just unable to reel that one in. And would have been a much-needed big chunk of yardage right there for the Chaminade offense that has been able to move the ball methodically, but still looking for an explosive play out here today.
So 2:06 remaining. Murphy. Beelan chasing him. Flushed out, throws it to the sideline. Was that a catch?
Looked like Suleiman Diallo got called on the late holding penalty.
Yeah, you saw it better than I. It was right.
A lot of contact right there as this ball is getting to his intended receiver. Looked like.
Oh, great call by you.
Yeah, a little bit of a hold. A lot of fighting right there, and ultimately too much to leave the flag in the pocket. Important note, the holding call is not an automatic first down, as you saw in that last drive for Hayes.
But they will get the first down here.
First and 10.
As Ken Breitenstein calls a 1st and 10, now from the 39.
Dylan, just under 2 minutes left here. Doesn't get any better than this. A couple of heavyweights in the AAA division fighting it out to the very last second.
Murphy flushed out, rolls right, under pressure. What a job by Peter Braz. That was a game-ending INT.
Diallo was already thinking about the celebration on the bus ride back to the Bronx right there. If it weren't for Peter Braz over the top playing some DB, doing his quarterback a little favor right there and bailing him out of a tough decision.
Good pressure there, too, applied by Derek Lopez. The senior kind of gets undershadowed or overshadowed, I should say, a bit by Valentine and Beelan, but has done a terrific job in the middle of that front three.
6'2", 240, absolute beast.
Murphy rolls left. Back over the middle, that's complete, but only a short reception for Park.
And as that clock ticks, throwing the ball over the middle of the field, Chaminade's going to have to put a little bit of pep in their step right here for a team that's not accustomed to
and they are doing
no huddle.
Yeah, I was going to say, Pat, they are doing that now. 3rd and 7, trips right. Murphy, plenty of time. Finds a receiver. There is a flag. Was that Braz making the reception? No.
Michael Dietrich right there.
Making the tackle, making the reception. And let's see what this flag is.
Dietrich was just short on the catch, but
and I think it's going against Chaminade based on some of the body language.
Yeah, Michael Genovese not too happy with this.
Ken Breitenstein saying
offensive pass interference.
Yeah.
Wow. That is a huge call as you hear the Hayes faithful erupt at Gold Star Stadium. They've been bringing the intensity all day long.
So now you're back at the 50. The first down marker is at the 29-yard line.
It's a huge call right there. It looked like they made that call away from the ball, which is atypical of an offensive pass interference. Nonetheless, been a lot of consequential calls here down the stretch, and Chaminade's going to have to dig themselves out of this one.
Yeah, I think if you're Murphy here, you can maybe try to have this, right? And then get something on 4th down. You don't have to get, I mean, it would be great if you do, but you don't have to get all 22 yards right now.
Don't want to force the issue. Take what they're giving you.
Murphy over the middle, bounced. Dietrich was the intended target. A few different Hazemen there. You saw Jaden Biggio, number 20, among them.
So now 4th and 22, just 40 seconds left in this game. And Chaminade's going to need some offensive heroics here if they hope to keep their chance of victory alive.
How about this? Murphy to the sideline, Carnevale in for this big play.
And it just kind of shows you what they think about this sophomore, Sean Carnevale from Bayville. They say he's mature beyond his years. and he's got a big-time arm. Well, they're going to need every ounce of it right here. Getting called in a huge moment.
And that's the exact reason why, right? You need a big arm here. Carnevale. Pressure comes. Ducks under it. Pulled down and sacked.
Kamari Valentine, who's been calling his name all day long. I think he's the best defensive lineman in all of New York State. And guess what? Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time moments. Exemplary of that right here by number 99, getting the pressure up the middle and closing this one out for Cardinal Hayes.
It was not all a dream for Cardinal Hayes.
Hey, nothing easy about this one today. I'm sure C.J. O'Neal probably felt like at times they could have laid it on Chaminade a little bit more, closed this one out a little bit earlier. But, hey, you know what matters is who are you down the stretch, and this is a big growth opportunity for both teams.
And on Chaminade's, look, they got one more chance, right? But Kamari Valentine snuffed it out.
The challenge of Chaminade's style of playing football is if they're not on schedule, they have a really, really tough time with a 3rd and long. And that big call at the end winds up being the nail in the coffin for the Flyers. Hayes able to close this one out and return to Grand Concourse victorious. And don't look now, but C.J. O'Neal ready for potentially another 1 seed going through this AAA playoffs.
I think, well, depending on the other results, right? But exactly. You lose to Iona, and I think if Iona wins out, obviously the Gales are your 1. But could you be the 2? Right? This could have been a game for the 2. They've got another big one next week against St. Anthony's, and that will maybe determine some things. Chaminade came into this stretch of these 2 games thinking maybe we could have a couple of home games. How great would it be for them if they can get a home semifinal game, right, here at Gold Star Stadium?
No doubt. There's a fan base that has been starved of winning for a long time now. Been about 12 years since their last AAA title appearance. And got to be tough to drop this one, but at the same time gives you a lot of confidence going forward, knowing, hey, we can hang there with the top dogs in New York State. They were a couple plays away from this going the other way. And a lot to look forward to the rest of the stretch for the Chaminade Flyers as well.
That's a big, gutty win for Cardinal Hayes, right? And again, you respond from the adversity of losing at home, right, at Columbia to Iona, right? And how do you respond to that adversity? It wasn't pretty, right? It wasn't a Picasso by any means, but Hayes came to Gold Star Stadium needing a win, needing a response, and they got it.
Yeah, nothing easy about this one. Hayes doesn't even score a point in the second half, but what mattered was their defense stepped up in big-time moments when they needed them. Their defensive line is every bit as good as advertised, with guys like Beelan and Lopez and Kamari Valentine leading the charge. And boy, what a great stepping stone to give your team confidence as you head towards the playoff stretch.
And now if you're Chaminade, right, you go back to the laboratory and you say, listen, let's watch this film. Let's watch it very closely, because if they are the best team or one of the best teams in Hayes, we were 2 points away from it, and look at all the things we can clean up within that game.
No doubt, no doubt. Everything is in front of this team. You know, they have a goal of winning a championship, and this right here taught them today that they are just a hair away from being the top team in the AAA this year. So you know what? You keep growing, you keep getting better down the stretch, and all of a sudden, this could be a different outcome if these teams meet again.
And if they do, it's with a lot on the line, that is for sure.
No doubt, no doubt.
So for Cardinal Hayes, they improved to 5-2 on the season, now 4-1 in the league, as they'll sing their fight song in the end zone, and a huge one coming up against St. Anthony's on November 2nd. That will be up at Columbia. And for Chaminade, their first league loss. They're now 6-2 overall, 4-1 in the league, and they'll take that trip up to New Rochelle, trying to avoid back-to-back defeats in Big Boy Catholic High School Football League.
Yeah, nothing going to be easy about that, but if there's a coaching staff that's ready to prepare their team, it's going to be Coach Tom Clara and company. He's been coaching magnificently all year long, and I'm sure they're going to be back to the drawing board this year and ready to go shock the world next week in New Rochelle.
So that'll do it for us from Gold Star Stadium. For our entire Varsity Media crew, I want to thank our executive producer Ben Turchin, associate producer Becca Kazaks, our technical director Chris Sweeney, for Joe Foster and Ron Pierre. Joe Foster, wasn't it Kevin Catalanato? But we do love Joe Foster. He does an excellent job for us. For Pat Godfrey, my broadcast partner Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us from Mineola. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Varsity Media Sports Network.